Oh,
If
you're
we were
actually
if we were
warning us
talking
to
about
die.
gaming, then I would have let it. I would have just started.
Yeah,
it.
but I was saying it's so out of character.
Yeah, that would have been weird. Fucking Applebee's, man.
What was this fucking plot
What the fuck are they
progression?
talking about?
Trying to
All right.
eat, bitch.
I think
Damn.
we're live. I think looks like it. Yep. All right. So
Well,
what's
you're
up?
not sure.
Welcome to the Wii U legacy discussion. we will touch upon a few things.
Don't be
there.
mad at us.
We'll touch upon a few things because some things came to light during my live stream that I think's worth talking about. T brought up a couple of them, and I might even have to. I got my Wii U still hooked up. I could probably put it on screen. I literally just to make sure I didn't do something wrong, I just typed Bayonetta 2 on the eShop in the search field and absolutely zero results. There wasn't even a trailer. There wasn't anything. Tropical Freeze, at least you got a bunch of trailers and E3 coverage and shit. Bayonetta 2 just doesn't exist on the Wii U eShop anymore, and it's like, where did it go? What happens if you downloaded Bayonetta 2 and your hard drive took a shit? Now, I did find Tropical Freeze going through my downloads. I had to go way back, like 2 pages worth. And I found like it brought me to the Tropical Freeze page and it just said purchased. But I didn't see an option to like download it, so maybe it can tell that I still have it. So I'd be curious if my external took a dump, if I would be able to re-download that or not.
I think
that's like the perfect example of why I don't like digital.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and
there's got to be a lawsuit, no? Like, I think okay, something happened to my hard drive. I paid for this game. You have proof of that. I have proof of it. I should be able to get this game back that I paid for.
Yeah, let me actually boot my Wii U back up and go to the download screen. Wait, I didn't. I had physical version of Bayonetta, so I can't check that.
You'd also I already don't like it when you have a game and they patch something out of it. Let's say there's like okay, like for example, Ocarina of Time. I mean, I'm sure that he is like me. He owns the version of Ocarina of Time before they changed some of the shit they had in there, like the chanting and the symbols and shit, and then they had to like remake a whole new card, but you can still play the original game. But in this day and age, they can just like patch out anything they want in the game. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I search Tropical Freeze, it didn't. Nothing came up except a bunch of. Let me retry.
You have that digitally, don't you?
Yep. But I can get to the page through my downloads in the eShop. But TV commercials, review videos, Nintendo Minute playing it, the trailer, the game itself, when you type Tropical Freeze, all you get is 9 items. They're all YouTube videos.
Wow.
So the only way I found it was by going through my downloads, and you saw all the games I downloaded, which I download a lot, and then you go to the more details, and it takes you to the page.
So technically, it's still there.
So I think
downloaded it.
I would have to like delete it to see if I could, if it was gone forever or not, which I'm not going to do. But
right.
So there is a way, since I have purchased that game digitally, that I can get back to the page. But it just eventually that's going to be gone. Like I was thinking the Digital Deluxe program, which I don't know that you ever got back to talking about on your stream, T. Where you got 10%.
No, I didn't. I'm gonna do a separate video.
You got 10% back on every digital game towards another digital game, and I went all in with that. So I got Mario Kart 8, Smash, Tropical Freeze, Pikmin 3, bunch of games digitally because of that, and I was just like caught up. 3D World I have digitally, Sonic Lost World, which I don't care. That's still a $50 game. But when I bought it, it's still a full retail game that could be lost. And it's like, that 6%. I was like, all right, this is cool. I got this external hard drive. I'm good. I was happy having my menu be like all big titles. Where it wasn't just indie games and then my disc, whatever game I had in the disc drive. And it was cool to be able to flip back and forth. We're playing Mario Kart, we're flipping to Smash, and I'm waiting for you guys to put your discs in and all that, and I'm already there. But
he's just calling us plebs. Like
I'm just thinking. I wasn't thinking about. I guess I wasn't assuming that they'd just be there on the next system, but I wasn't thinking about that, either one way or the other. I wasn't saying, oh, I'm sure they'll be there, or I'm wondering if they will. I just kind of just didn't even think along those lines. I wish I would have, because like at some point, this Wii U eShop at some point you would think wouldn't exist. It's just at some point it would go away. You would think.
I was gonna say let's do a new race. You try to find your game. We put our desks in.
Yeah, for the Wii U. At some point,
like something else.
I think the eShop is gonna disappear on the Wii U. At some point in time. But I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking in the now. I was like, oh, I'm getting $6 back on every game.
Mm-hmm.
I buy however many games, buy 10 games, and I get a free game, basically. If I buy 10 full price.
I think with my mentality with the digital downloads like that has never been, apart from PC, they've never been where they carry over. So like when I downloaded loads of stuff on my 3DS, I always thought, right, I know this is for this 3DS console here,
right, and
this is what I'm downloading it for. And it was the same with the Wii. It was the same with the Wii U, and it's the same with the Switch. It's why I still buy digital stuff on the Switch, because I'm not. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I'm not expecting it to carry over. I'm expecting it just to be right. This is my Switch. These are the games I have on my Switch. I'm expecting my Switch to last forever. I think that's what I'm expecting more than anything else. My actual consoles to last forever. Yeah, I know exactly.
If you ask, what was it? They got an award in France about being the Switch.
It's not even that, because
well, I'm just saying that
I know
it's a fragile device.
The most fragile device of 2019.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to, but it's also kind of like with like the Xbox 360,
right?
Or my PlayStation 3, or my PlayStation 4, which wiped and stuff like that. I'm lucky right now to still be able to be, these consoles are still online, and I can still download any games that I had.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a part of me is still not expecting these games themselves to be able to download them.
So what type of games are
you talking? What type of games are you did you buy any like full first party $60
the only I never buy I say I never, that's a lie. I very rarely buy full price games as digital downloads. So only ever indie games, and I also have a price threshold. I think we talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
But the only full game I did buy was Monster Hunter Ultimate on the Wii U. That's the only one I downloaded full price. I say full price. It was in a sale. It was like £15 or £20.
Yeah, I bought it too.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna grab this. And then ever since then, I've kind of like just pick up the damn physical game, and it's cheap now, just to have it there on my shelf.
It's like $10 now. You can find
and that's the only full game I've downloaded. I can't even think to my PS3 and my Xbox 360. Never. I think I've only ever done indie games. And the only full price games I've ever bought were on PC. I bought Tomb Raider, and then some other stuff in some bundles, some older games in bundles. But yeah, on consoles, I just don't do it. I really don't do it.
I will say I lean towards Clocktic's mentality when it comes to buying games and how I treat them with my consoles, that I don't necessarily expect them to carry over, but I expect to have the console longer in some way, shape, or form, whether it's me buying a new iteration and transferring stuff. But that's the way I look at it. But I have bought a good chunk of full price games. Like, actually, I did with the PS4 Pro when I first got it, because I thought that was the way I was going to go. And then I realized there was no financial advantage to do so. So I think I have Yakuza and Senran Kagura. And then on the Switch, actually, Zelda is digital only. I think Zelda, Dragon Quest, and Marvel versus Ultimate Alliance 3, I think, are all on the and then the rest of them I think are just indie titles.
The only games that I could even see myself doing that with, and I've maybe done it once, is the yearly type of release type of game, like a Call of Duty or some kind of sports game. That's the only time, because you don't go back to sports games. I mean, that's just, nobody goes back to like Madden 08 or something. Like nobody.
I don't know. The Switch made me want to do it more often, only because I knew there were certain titles that I was always going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just easier to jump back into a game with it already on the system versus me having to go find the cart and put it in there.
It's definitely way easier. I have like 72 physical Switch games, and it can be a pain in the ass having to dig, especially because they're tiny little carts, having to find where you put them. Because I don't leave them in the cases. I leave them out where I can get to them quicker. So I have this little flip case or whatever that I pull the actual game out of. So it can be a pain in the ass, and something like the Switch where you play portably even around the house. You like to be able to just turn it on and go right into the game instead of be searching for something. So I mean, I get it. I totally get that, but just that's what I love about this generation is the fact that a lot of indie games are getting some kind of release somewhere physically, like because of Super Rare and what's the biggest one, Limited Run and stuff like that. I seek those games out. It's kind of fun for me to do that, to try to find the indie game on a cart or disc or something. If I can do that, I'll do it that way. But otherwise, have no choice.
And another strange thing I have with consoles as well, I have a bit of a memory limit. So like with my 3DS, my memory cards in my 3DS got full. Yeah, I had loads of games on it, and it got full. I had a big memory. I can't remember.
Probably 1 or 2 gigs. I
was gonna say. Yeah. I have like a 32, and it's way far away from being full.
I kind of like if I'm downloading stuff, I'd like to see it all there. I don't like to delete stuff once I've downloaded it, even if it's shit and I don't play it.
Trash.
I kind of just I bought it, I can see it, it's there, and just in case, you can just fire it up. I generally do. It's why I hate my PS4, because I install about 5 games. And next thing you know, it's the hard drive. I got to delete something. I hate doing that. I got to delete something.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and then download something else. And then once I've done with that, I got to delete that. And something else gets an update, and something's always full. So I kind of have this memory limit with consoles. Once I've reached a limit with the memory, I've done it now with my Switch. My Switch memory card, like 120 fucking gig memory card I got in my Switch. Sure, it's 120 gig. Yeah. I've downloaded so many indie titles, so many updates, and so many videos.
Not even counting the updates.
And all that stuff. My Switch memory card is getting full now. I'm like, fuck. So, but because my Switch is still so active, it's still so young, I think I'm in the process now where I'm going to have to buy a bigger memory card.
I just bought a 400 gig myself.
Yeah, transfer everything.
It feels great.
Keep it in there. Yeah,
it feels good.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't do that with my 3DS. I didn't do anything else. Once my PS3 was full, that was it. Once my PS4 is full, I've struggled to delete stuff, which is it's like even if you buy physical stuff on those platforms, you need a hard drive.
Still on the hard drive,
It's crazy because I had like 12 or 13 games on my 500 gig PS4, and I still had like 100 gigs left. And Uncharted 4 by itself was like 63.
Oh,
so
it's crazy.
I don't know. I haven't even come close.
Yeah,
to
I think
my
Xbox. It's different with my Xbox One. I don't know why, but I can. First, as far as big retail releases, I maybe can hold 6, 7 tops.
Yeah, I was trying to.
PS4 seems to hold more, but I don't play it as much, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to install Titanfall 2, because that's on PS Plus at the moment. I was gonna play that, and then it was like, memory's full. So I had to delete. I deleted God of War off there, and I deleted something else off there in order to just.
You deleted, like, man, I want to keep that.
Exactly. It's I think what helped me was that remember when my PS4 busted and I lost all my saves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't on PS Plus for like well over the year and stuff, so I had no cloud saves or anything like that.
Yeah, they hold it up to 6 months or something, and then that's
I didn't have any of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was happy to delete God of War, because I had no save on it. I completed the game. I can't even do a new game plus.
I wonder if because you had a corrupt hard drive or something, didn't you?
Something went wrong.
I wonder if something happened where you're not getting full access to it to your hard drive now.
It might be
I'll have to check that out.
Unless you just are miscounting the amount of games. Like, literally, I have like 12.
Yeah, it got to the point where I just didn't care about my PS4 when I was playing on it now. So I just like, right, okay, I'll just dip in and out. Got Borderlands 3, which I've been playing with retro a bit, but even then, I had to delete stuff, to get that installed. So yeah, it's this is why this is why I love just Switch cards. That everything's on there for the most part.
Right.
Well, if you buy the right games.
You buy the ones with
avoid the right
border on the front.
Avoid the games that
we buy the right games,
Yeah.
So.
Nintendo starts doing that shit, then we're gonna have a problem.
If they start doing it, they just trying to be greedy at that point. Their games are so small. They need to do that, and something's not right.
Well, I mean, Breath of the Wild was on a 16 gig card, and I'm guessing Breath of the Wild 2 should be as well. So let's hope they don't start doing the additional download stuff. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to, but...
What was it, 12, though? It was like 12 gigs?
I think Breath of the Wild's like 13 or 14.
It's 13.
13? Okay.
Well, that was probably before the patches and stuff. I think one of the updates was half a gig or something.
I can check real quick.
They did add... I mean, one of the updates did add content. It was...
Yeah, but they better not charge for... It's their fucking carts. You can kiss my ass. You better start charging me.
But one of the other things, getting back to the Wii U that... I mean, I kind of skipped over, and T was pointing out, was the games that are on the eShop. They took New Super Mario Brothers U, for sure. That was Nintendo
you've
Select.
Had a good look as well, now, haven't you? I think you've had a good look at that eShop now to see what you can find there.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even realize, they, instead of... the whole argument, well, how are you charging $60 for this on Switch when it's $20 on Wii U? Those fucking bastards. And I'd love some of the Defendos, Bluntsies.
Oh, they don't have a defense. They always have one.
Instead of leaving that to have so people would have an argument, they just raised the Wii U price back up to $60 and just took it off the Nintendo Selects list.
Yeah, they just...
I'm like,
have you ever seen that? Have they ever...
I mean...
what was the GameCube one called?
Something choice.
Bestsellers or
player choice.
Yeah, player's choice.
Have you ever seen them do that? Take a player's choice game from any game in their history and say, "Oh no, we're going to put it back up to $60." And once it's on player's choice, it stays there. Like that's
bogus, man.
That's right.
Yeah, because I'm looking right now at a Nintendo Select version of Tropical Freeze, which they just removed from the eShop, and New Super Mario Brothers U. I'm sure was on there. I know they came out with one. They added the Luigi in a pack for, I don't know if it was 60 or not. But I'm like, that to me is like,
that's gross.
It kind of points out what I've been saying. I feel like it's kind of proof. Yeah, Nintendo Selects. Let's see if it was. I can't remember if New Super Mario Bros. U was officially a Nintendo Select. I know at some point.
No, it was.
It was cheaper.
I remember it being a Select.
So I don't. Oh, this is a 3DS version, a 3DS trailer. But anyway, so their solution was like Mario Kart 8. I don't think that ever got a price drop. That was never Nintendo Select.
No.
But they just raised the price or got rid of the games, so that that price discrepancy didn't exist anymore. And that's
Mario Kart 8 is not as egregious, or deluxe anyway. It's not as egregious to me because hey, you got all the DLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a full-fledged battle.
That was different. That's different, yeah.
So to me, that's way different.
All right, see if I can find like a page that has like Wii U. Oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, all the DLC, and you got an extra item, right? They add in an extra item, so they did some stuff.
This was like one of my favorite examples is still Hyrule Warriors, where they combined both everything from the 3DS game and the Wii U game, and then still added those Breath of the Wild costumes to it.
Right. Nobody complained about Hyrule Warriors, I don't think.
Why is these pictures so fucking?
Because they actually did something to it. We're talking about straight ports.
That had all the 3DS stuff, didn't it? As well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they made the graphics a lot better because I don't know why the Wii U version was really dark always, and they did the saturation and all that shit.
All right, so this was the first wave. It was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Lego City Undercover, New Super Mario Brothers U with New Super Luigi U, Nintendo Land, Wind Waker HD, and Wii Party U was the first Nintendo Selects. Here's box arts and everything. So this was $20 with New Super Mario Brothers U, maybe, or Luigi U. Maybe right. It was $30 for that one. I don't know, but it's like.
Did Nintendo publish Lego City?
Yeah.
And they must have.
Here they did. I don't know if they
3D
did.
3D World was a Nintendo Select. I didn't know that, actually. Pikmin 3.
Yeah, 3D World was a Select. I remember that.
Lego City's on a Switch as well now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, New Super Mario Brothers U on the eShop right now on the Wii U is $60 again. So and it's not listed in the Nintendo Selects option on the eShop. So they just retroactively undid that as a Nintendo Select and made it a full price game. And what other reason would they other than to just justify the price of the Switch version?
Switch version, right? I mean, it's so obvious. It's as obvious as taking the gamepad features out of Breath of the Wild on Wii U. It's that obvious why they did it.
And Captain Toad was too, so that was down to 20, and then they, ported it. They did add. I mean, they took stuff, but they added like 1 or 2 new levels. Or I think it was 2.
They swapped stuff around.
I know we're beating a dead horse here, but I know people are trying to argue about ports and this and that, and it's like you can't argue this right here. That is some
bring that up because
next
that was
level bullshit
with the backwards compatibility.
Oh yeah, someone said that backwards compatibility is if let's say the next system, the next Switch has backwards compatibility, because my point about the legacy of the Wii U being diminished was that you take some of its top games and then put them on the Switch, and then they're in the future they're not even remembered as Wii U games. So I mean, whether you care or not, that's just, I think that's factually evidence that it just reduces the library of the Wii U and its legacy. But someone said, well, backwards compatibility, how does that not reduce its legacy? I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're comparing full price ports to backwards compatibility? Like,
for games that you can get for $10 to $15, $20 sometimes.
Yeah, like, because if you, let's say, Super Mario 3D World, if you want to play Super Mario 3D World, you can't play this game and not know it's a Wii U game. Like, you can only play it on the Wii U unless you're the few people that do the emulation on PC, but we're not talking about those because they'll emulate any fucking game. They'll play any game and not pay for it. So if you want to if you're just a legit gamer who wants to play Super Mario 3D World, you can't play it without knowing what the Wii U is, without having a Wii U, and but you could play Tropical Freeze and never even know it was ever a Wii U game, so that's, to me, that was just the difference.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who never owned a Wii U and think, look at these games as new games. Nintendo's not stupid. They know that. That's why they're doing this. So cut it out. If it was a difference, I mean, I understand the backwards compatibility with the Switch, not with Wii U because of the discs. Like, to me, that was a sacrifice they had to make, and I've never been mad at them for it. Yeah, me neither.
What are you going to do? Add a disc drive to the Switch dock or something, So I don't mind.
Do that, a USB drive?
They could have. But I'm okay with that one time, They've always done backwards compatibility since the Game Boy Advance played Game Boy Color games, right?
Yeah.
So their handhelds have always done it, at least for one generation. So I wouldn't be...
Well, the disc... I just thought of it, but the disc isn't the only issue with backward compatibility with Wii U. What are you gonna do about the gamepad, Mike?
Yeah,
like that's a big part of it.
So I mean, it's justified.
But it's way justified.
If that wasn't this case, if it was still a disc-based system and they didn't have backwards compatibility, I think that would make it definitely worse that they're just porting the games. But somebody could go back, whether let's say it's a backwards, like someone buys PS5 and they never were interested in PS4, but like, I'm gonna get the PS5, and then they can just whatever game, they could go back and buy God of War, they could buy fucking some of the launch titles, whether I doubt they would, but someone could go play NAC 1 on their PS5 and it's not suddenly a PS5 game, they're gonna see it's in a PS4 box art, it wouldn't hurt the legacy or
HD remasters don't either because they're HD remasters. Like, we know they came from a different system. Like, it became popular on a certain system, and it's just a remaster. You're not taking anything away from that old system when you put out an HD remaster, 10, 20 years later or something. Like, that doesn't take anything away.
But yeah,
you're
just
offering the next generation. The next generation, you're offering last generation's games full price, like the other system didn't even exist, and that's different. I mean, I don't know if people are just playing like they don't understand that, and they just want to have an argument, or I don't get it.
And I would have never brought this back up if it wasn't for what I found out, like on the eShop, how they raised the prices and stuff or took games off. Bayonetta 2 is just literally doesn't exist on the Wii U eShop anymore. No results, no trailers, no info whatsoever. It just does not exist anymore.
So it's literally wiped from Wii U's existence.
On the eShop, yeah. The digital version is completely wiped. So, I don't know. To me, that was worth bringing back up and dipping back into this discussion about ports and stuff. I don't know if you guys have anything to say on it.
Well, I just wanted to say at the end of the day, does it matter? No, I'm just...
Actually, that's literally my mindset. That's probably the reason why I haven't said anything. No, it's one of those things where it's like
going to be the argument.
It's one of those things where like I hear the conversation, I hear the points, and I literally kind of look and I'm like, who? Like, I don't want to be mean about it, but like literally, I'm like, who the fuck?
Well, it's not mean. I mean, I get the other side of it.
Yeah, it's like
if you don't care about the history of gaming, if you don't care about these things, then who gives a shit, right? Like I get that. But again, I said it in my video from a gaming historian's position. Like, this takes away from because I care about the history of gaming. Like, it means something to me. Like, I don't just some people just want to buy their games and play them and that's it. But I get into the culture of gaming as well. So I think about that.
I think for me,
it's just icky though.
A company that I've been supporting since like '92, and I've always been able to just, without second thought, praise them for how good they are with their their fans and their consumers, and they're usually they were always, in my opinion, like the most consumer friendly, and just little things like that to me it just feels a little dirty, like man, like really this is the company that I've defended and praised all these years, and now they're doing stuff that kind of goes against my principles. Like, if I heard somebody saying that like Sony or Microsoft did that a few years ago, I would have been just like, I might not have made a talked about it on podcasts, but I would have been like, that's some bullshit, like if back in the day when I worked with this absolute diehard pony, I mean, nothing Sony could do was ever wrong, he didn't care. They started charging for online, even though he used to always give me shit about paying for Xbox Live, and he just took it, and just never said a word. Type of guy, back in the day, if I would have had that fuel, I would have thrown it right in his face and try to start an argument with him about it, type of stuff. So it's just, to me, I just don't like a company I like doing things that I don't
like. I can't run that argument anymore, because here's the thing: it's not only bad for Nintendo standards, it's bad for other company standards. Like, if you look at The Last of Us, how much did The Last of Us cost when it came out? The remaster.
I think it was 50 initially, but then it dropped pretty quick.
So it wasn't more than what it cost on the previous system.
And it had the DLC.
And it was a remaster. They did do stuff to it. Like, it wasn't just a straight up port. And here you have what's the game that did get it was basically a remake.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. That was a remake, ground up. And how much was that when it came out? It was $40. So it's not only that we can't hold them Nintendo to their own standards. They're doing stuff worse than the companies I used to defend them against. So, like, if you just don't care, then you just don't care. Don't put a dog in the race or pony in the race, whatever the saying is. But since I care.
Don't put
a dog in the race.
I don't know what it is. I don't do sayings very well. If you don't, it's like if you don't have a dog in the race, something like that.
I like the pony one better. It fits.
I was thinking about horses and shit. I don't know. But like, if you don't have a decent, really argument against it, then shut the hell up and let us talk about it.
I mean, I don't mind somebody not saying anything. It's the people that try to.
If you don't care, fine. You don't care.
I don't know. To me, like, that just took it to another level. And I know I've been harping on Nintendo a lot since around the Black Friday sale stuff, and this just, to me, is just every little thing. It hurts me. It hurts my soul as a Nintendo fan to like know they're doing stuff like this, and it's just really sneaky, like slimy type stuff in my opinion. It's not that big a deal really, but I mean the fact.
And we clocked it like Nintendo was like big there, right? Like, especially even during the Wii U era, or not clocked. Sorry, retro.
Don't look at me, man.
Retro. Nintendo was big there. Like, even during the Wii U era, a lot of people still liked the Wii U's a lot, even though the Wii U was like one of the worst selling consoles. And to have a console that actually is doing well, and to have them put out this worst device, as far as it's for how fragile it is, for a company that is historically known to have these, devices that can stand IEDs in Iraq. You know, man, like that Game Boy that's sitting in a New York store, like this is not the same company. And so instead of sitting around and saying nothing and waiting until it's completely disaster as far as what they used to be, you're going to be crying later if this stuff doesn't stop now, because it's only going to get worse. And we're trying to stop it from getting worse by talking about it.
We're just trying to make Nintendo better, damn it.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I have seen Nintendo Switches dropped out of planes and surviving.
Yeah, like the durability is still there.
I'm talking about the controllers.
Like people, I remember I saw videos of like drop tests off of buildings and shit. Like,
I know it didn't do well.
Also, I think there's different tiers. Like, to me, the build quality is a more important conversation to be had versus like
a working controller.
Huh?
I said a working controller.
Then the legacy.
No. Then the Wii U legacy thing. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I can understand the complaints and concerns about the build quality of a console that you pay $300 for, than the gripes of disrespecting, or I guess neglecting, the legacy of the console that preceded it.
But here's the thing. Like, my main problem is the pricing and all that stuff, and the shadiness of it. Like, at the end of the day, they can do what the hell they want to do. Like, as far as putting games on the next system. So my biggest gripe isn't in the legacy, even though that's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah, that's kind of
my biggest gripe is the consumer bullshit. The anti-consumer bullshit that's going along with this. It's the pricing and the stealth deleting games from your eShop or stealth raising the prices on games on your eShop. That's the kind of stuff that I think is important. More important than the legacy stuff.
I wasn't talking about that as far as the legacy. It just that's when I realized they had done some of that stuff, and then when T was talking about it kind of hit me that they just raised the pricing to match the Switch price, or just deleted the game entirely. And to me, that doesn't have anything to do with affecting the Wii U's legacy.
No.
At that point, that's just like
that's
greedy
just
business practices that I don't like. So I don't associate that with the Wii U's legacy. That specifically, it's just I don't know, I just don't like that. Like, just if you're gonna there wasn't one game still on the Nintendo Selects on the eShop. Most of them were 3DS games, but
it's like Captain?
Just if you're gonna bring New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe with New Super Mario Luigi U, and if you're gonna charge $60, just leave the Nintendo Select version like on the Wii U. If someone has a Wii U in this day and just, oh wait, I never picked that game up, I'm gonna buy it. Like, what good does it do to raise that up to 60 on Wii U, other than to make sure no one ever buys that?
Outside of me calling you out in a video that nobody watches,
the thing is,
it's not going to really affect you. Like,
they can still come out and say, but this is a deluxe version. It's £20 on a Wii U, but we got
a Wii U deluxe version.
But but then we got the deluxe version on here, or whatever. They can still do that. It's like I said, it's shit business when, from us in the know when we see them do stuff like this. I can understand why. But then, like you said, it's a sly way that it's been done, the quiet way that it's been done, where because I don't. The thing is, we know this doesn't affect any fucking Wii U owners now who are going to purchase this game for the first time or whatever. It's just, it doesn't affect them. So it's just us people who still have them. I mean, Lenny Wright made me laugh just now. He's just saying, I'm just like, yeah, man, my physical copy of Bayonetta 2 has gone up in price.
Oh yeah, especially the double. But what happens?
It's a good thing for physical.
And it's like it's completely unnecessary too. To like I said, no one's going out and picking up a Wii U and just like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of digital games. Like it's an unnecessary.
It's like I'm gonna buy a Wii U now over the Switch because I could get Mario Bros. U for cheaper.
That's a tiny market, bro.
Taking Tropical Freeze and Bayonetta 2 off the Wii U eShop is completely unnecessary, and it just makes me wonder, why would they even put in the effort to do it? Why would they put in that? Why would they have someone go in and raise the price of New Super Mario Brothers U to $60? Like what would they even? What would he in their mind to do that? Like
Bayonetta is an odd choice. That's an odd one to remove. I mean, it's only been out for like four years, isn't it? 4 years.
5 years.
5
years. It just feels like a complete PR move. Like it's just for PR sake, so nobody can argue like we're arguing about it.
Like somebody, like we were saying all in 2018, like, hey, this game's $20 and now you're charged $60, and they must have. That tells me that somebody heard that and someone thought
somebody heard it. Yeah.
We better make the price match.
You watch our podcast.
That's just, I don't know. That's just it's just something I wouldn't expect from them. It's just doesn't fit. Doesn't fit with what
Kurokawa, man. He's different.
And we've never even seen the guy. He's never even spoken in public.
Yeah. Well, some presidents are like that. We lucked out with Iwata.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I just thought that was.
Kimishima was a bit like that as well, wasn't he? We saw him, once or twice or some.
Furukawa went into full beast mode.
But he's got the full beast mode underground. Do this, remove it from the eShop now.
That's just funny. Like somebody had to have made that decision and then told somebody to do it. Like that's.
I mean, that has to be a conscious. Obviously, it was a conscious decision. Born from what?
I don't know.
Like wow.
Curious.
Just Nintendo saying, let's start again. It's a new generation. Wipe everything. Wipe the hard drives. We're gonna start again.
Well, they do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what happened. We will give them Breath of the Wild on Wii U. That's it. Everything else.
Hey, look at who's here.
Hello.
He made it.
I mean, you hear me?
Look,
he's too busy playing Metroid Prime 2. He forgot about the podcast.
Look what the pony dragged in.
All right, Robert, before we move on, if you have anything to say on Nintendo retroactively taking games off the Wii U eShop or raising the price to match the Switch version, like New Super Mario Brothers U was a Nintendo Select $20 game, and now on the Wii U eShop it's $60 to match the price.
Oh
of the
wow,
Switch
they
version.
changed that shit. I didn't even know about that.
Shit right
Thoughts
back
on that?
Wait until the Prime trilogy releases.
That's pretty fucked. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty fucked up.
Tropical Freeze is you can't find, and Bayonetta 2's been removed.
Wasn't Prime Trilogy like $10 at when
it was like 10,
get it off the Wii U.
The Wii U version
they get it now, bitches.
Yeah, they're getting. Oh hell's yeah, they're gonna remove that shit ASAP. That's crazy.
Wii U sales goes up by like 10 million consoles. Holy shit, the Wii U is a success.
Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, I didn't know that was a thing.
We're just basically talking about how like somebody actually had to make that decision and tell somebody to go and change those.
How did that person feel?
Right?
Like,
yeah, they're pressing backspace. Ah, shit.
I can't believe they're making me do this shit.
Also, they just took Bayonetta off.
Did they?
I'm looked it up. They took it off in September.
How do you know when?
There's apparently Nintendo confirmed it. They actually sent out a press.
Somebody found out, and they
Nintendo put out a press release. The other interesting thing I found out is apparently the Wii U and 3DS don't even accept credit cards anymore.
No, they don't. Do you know what? I was on the Wii U eShop 2 days ago, because I wanted to buy Tactics Ogre 64 off the Virtual Console on the Wii U, right? Like that game never released over here, and it still looks gorgeous to this day. I'm like, right, I'm getting on Wii U. I want to play this game. I went on there and they're like, we do not accept credit cards anymore.
You know why they did that, right?
The only way,
and I had to go through the website. I had to go through the website. Yeah, and then I had to buy Wii points, so I could even remember when you could, like, I'm so used to the Switch now, where you can pay just the amount of the game that you want.
Yeah.
But the least I could get was £10, and the game was $8.99, and that £1.
Yeah, you lost that money. That shit gone.
That's not stopped me from doing it. I was like, I'm not doing it. You're not keeping my £1 and 1 pence hostage. You're not doing it. I might still go back. And I really want that game.
But you know why they do that, right?
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I forgot about that. Where you had to buy it in certain.
Who doesn't know why they?
No, why? Yeah, why?
It's a security thing. They're not doing updates on Switch anymore, so they're not doing security updates. So they don't want people's credit cards sitting on there.
You're talking about the credit card thing. I thought you were talking about.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
But still, you're gonna lose those points, and can they turn that in? Can they cash that in someday?
That fucking blows, because that means it's still one step closer.
Well, we had that before, didn't we? When we bought Wii points, you were like, "Fuck, I'm 100 points short for this fucking game." When you bought more, fucking trash, man. Absolute garbage.
You can try to see if you can find something for 100 points.
And actually, that happened.
It's gonna be utter trash if you do.
In the credit card removal happened like in August. All this shit was this year.
So when did they remove New Super Mario Bros. U from the Nintendo Select line? Could you find? Did you look that up?
It's a lot of shit. Give me a second.
Wait, but doesn't that mean the Nintendo Select version of those games are going to start to be rare?
Oh yeah, Like you find a physical.
Well, somebody just said on the
physical copy of them
on the eShop website in the UK, they have Tropical Freeze for €20, £20. So I didn't check the website eShop where you can.
Then why even? I mean, why even do it if you're going to leave certain places that still have?
That's always been kind of the discrepancy.
They probably are going to.
To be fair, the Wii U was like the worst console where like the UK would get certain things and America wouldn't.
That still happens a lot.
Yeah, well, it's not as bad as
the UK. I think it's Japan that gets more shit now.
Yeah, Japan gets more shit now, but still.
So I gotta find Nintendo Store online? That's always like, why didn't it come up? The UK's came up.
Move for me, Sean.
Yeah, just read that article quickly. So they said they didn't come back and confirm if you'd be able to re-download it or not. So
no. If you look at the top has the updates.
I don't even see Wii U as an option on the Nintendo online store.
At the very top,
that shit doesn't exist, yo.
Okay,
at the very top, you can re-download Bayonetta if you bought it.
Just at the bottom as well. They also said, it brings to that topic of, which everyone's been running out and trying to stop, which is, digital, delisting. Everyone ran out and bought fucking DuckTales remastered, didn't they, on the Wii U?
That's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah.
So let me bring this over. So
I already had that trash.
Transparency here. Okay, Donkey Kong Country.
I had to download. So.
All right, Tropical Freeze, Nintendo Select, add to cart, $19.99. Let me add it to cart. See if it shows available. Is it digital or is this physical?
It's gonna be digital. I would assume.
But that it sucks that with that whole thing where you have to now buy I guess points or whatever.
No, this is the physical version.
Oh really? I'm surprised. Okay.
It's showing the case. I think a lot of time when they do show the case,
it doesn't. You get on this podcast every week and all you do is talk about Nintendo. All right, I'm out.
I'm gonna go to I'm curious if it's like actually available. But that's just probably getting rid of physical stock. That's
the thing is even though with chewing out Nintendo now for some little annoying sly things that they've done with some of their key games and stuff. I've had this issue. Like I said with my Xbox 360, there's some games you still cannot get on the Xbox One.
There's happening everywhere, not just Nintendo.
360. And for example, I don't know if this changed or not, but Outrun 2. Also Sega, because they lost the Ferrari license. All that stuff.
Well, here's
you can't get it.
Interrupt. I found New Super Mario Bros. U plus New Super Luigi U, and it is not the select version anymore. It's 60 even on this. They
got rid of the
eShop.
Period. Yeah.
Huh. Also, side note, apparently, as far as the Wii U games disappearing, it's not just first party. Apparently, it's also a lot of third party games.
But were they also on Switch?
Well, that happens for various reasons.
Oh yeah,
Nintendo,
it's definitely the physical version for Tropical Freeze.
There's a licensing, length of time thing, as long as how long it can be on a store.
You're right.
There's all that kind of stuff that goes on with the
we
third
had
party.
this discussion before about the virtual console. I'm sure this, like
virtual
you said,
console.
with today's world, a lot of these companies now are just like, no, fuck that. We'll sell a compilation of these games for
exactly.
$50. Everyone buys it up. I'm not going to give it to you for free right now.
Yeah, those do well. Those do really well today. So.
It's just curious.
Mega Man collections, all these collections and shit. Like,
yeah.
People buy that shit up.
So I just typed
online gaming is just fucked up, man. It's hardcore.
Yeah.
I just typed Bayonetta 2 on, and nothing came. Not even the Switch version came up on.
That game no longer exists because they're not. Bayonetta 3 is in limbo. It's not coming.
That's crazy. Bayonetta 2 does not exist, even the Switch version on this online store, which is weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was at Best Buy last time I was there, so it's not like it's.
You know it's going to be really rare one day?
What?
It's probably already starting to get rare. Bayonetta 1 on Wii U.
Yeah.
I got that.
It's only a digital game.
No,
physical copy.
On Switch.
No,
It's physical.
Oh, that's right. They do.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, on Wii U it's physical. On
on
Switch,
Wii U
it
is physical. Yeah.
That's what he got you on Switch.
Yeah.
Gotcha, motherfuckers.
So
well, actually, it's physical in Japan.
Yeah, it's physical in Japan.
Weird.
They got two cards.
One.
That's Furukawa again. That's Furukawa.
That's the Furukawa bullshit right there.
Give it to my people, but those American people.
Here's another one. Captain Toad. They don't have the Nintendo Select version. They have the Wii U version for $40, the standard version. They don't have the Nintendo Select version anymore.
Captain Toad was like $40 brand new anyway, so
I know, but it was a $20 Select a couple years ago.
I think it's still worth $40.
Now it's gone.
Toad is crumtier, man. Crumtier.
That's weird. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I love that game, but at the same time, I mean, it
should be cheaper though.
It really odd. I'm surprised they did that, but I get why, because it just, it looks weird.
Can get Pikmin 3 anymore?
That was a million seller on Wii U.
It was, yeah.
If Pikmin 3 is not there,
it's not
then
on
Pikmin
here.
4 confirms, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, here's Pikmin 4 right here for $39.99.
Honestly, they should be doing a. You know how they talk about
Metroid
Prime
Pikmin?
trilogy? They should
Check
be doing
the stream. Yeah.
I can't see it. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I know you.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe is coming, everybody. You'll get all of the downloads for free, all of the DLC for free. Because I bought that DLC, motherfuckers. I bought that shit.
I made the mistake of clicking on old Wii or Nintendo Directs with Wii U and stuff 4 or 5 years ago. And so now I get that all in my feed all the time. I was just watching the Direct with Pikmin and shit. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing right now?
Hey, Pikmin's there. We're not going to get the Hey Pikmin ports. Sorry, Hey Pikmin fans.
Oh,
no Switch.
The
Switch
Pikmin shorts. Remember those?
Oh, I love those.
You can just watch those for free on YouTube now instead of buying them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
I bought them shits.
Give me my money back,
man. I have those on the Wii U, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Wii U, not 3DS. Yeah, it was Wii U.
And someone pointed out that even the 3DS version of Captain Toad is no longer. I don't know if it was ever a Select. I thought it was, but that's back. That's up to. The 3DS version is the same price as the Switch and version. Something's wrong.
That version should not exist.
Well, that's because that's full price.
It has
because it's a discount of a Wii U game, but it's full price.
I know, but that's weird to have it.
That's different for me, simply because of the fact because I don't have it. If it's actual full good 3D, I excuse that. I see it as its own thing.
Yeah.
No, I hear it is good. 3D.
But that's funny because
I feel like that's a perfect game.
It was a discounted Wii U game. It's a discounted Switch game, but it was a full price 3DS game. I never noticed that before. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
that was fun.
Crazy.
You whining bitches! Why don't you just can't you enjoy Nintendo for once?
I'm thinking we got to do our. We got to decide on when we're gonna do our games of the decade. We probably should have did it this podcast right before the new year ended, but I think we should maybe do it next week.
Yeah, we might
do it next week.
I'm struggling, man.
Like everybody else.
I got.
I need to do my retro reviews. I got Resident Evil 2 coming and Devil May Cry coming as well.
That's why Game of the Decade.
Devil May Cry remaster.
Wait, retro reviews, are those reviews?
No,
Devil May Cry 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Devil May Cry 5 is part of Game Pass. I didn't have to spend $20 on it. I could have just played it for $1.
Everybody missed my joke there.
I didn't hear.
I thought it was funny. I laughed.
What'd you say, T.I.?
I said retro reviews are those the reviews that you play the game for 5 minutes and put a review.
I said that you could not finish it and review it.
So I look like an Al Schwarzenegger.
That was like one of the worst. Why you do retro like that with that version?
So yeah, my games of the decade. I might have to replay some of these games like back to back because I like grabbed about 15 games that I'm confident about, but it's really hard to like put them in order. I might just cop out and say like there is no order except number 1 and 2 maybe.
Well, I
mean, make it easier on yourself. You should make an order. You should make an order because it's more fun. But a list like this, especially one for a decade, it's obvious that the next day that list could change again.
They did.
Right?
That's
like,
what happened.
Honestly, again, just like I always say, like I think every year these lists always change. Like if I did the 2017 list to be different today, if I did the 2018 list to be different today, the 2016, they're always different every day for me.
So it's like I forget games.
Or again, you play games later on. It is what it is.
And I whittle my games. I whittle mine down to 10 easy now because you know what? Let's be honest, boy. Let's be honest. These are games of the decade, right? You need to pick 10 of them, and these are 10.
Shouldn't be that hard.
These are 10 sexual sausage games, and how many sexual sausage games do we get? Hardly any.
Well, I mean, again, for me, I had like 15.
I had
17.
like 18, and then I narrowed down to 15, and then.
The problem, I was gonna say the problem isn't finding those really good games. The problem is cutting out really good games.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because right now I got Xenoblade Chronicles X on the fringe, and I'm like, then it could actually probably jump up to number 5 at any given point. Like it just. What a
huge difference.
It's just like the more I think about it, it's like God damn, like I haven't played Super Mario Galaxy 2 and probably like realistically played it in like 8 years. So
you play that, you're not gonna want to stop playing. It's so good.
I mean, I played it a little bit on the Wii U's backwards compatibility when it first came out. Wii U first came out, so I was like, man, I mean, 3D World is the freshest in my mind as far as Odyssey's fresher, but 3D World still, in my opinion, is ahead of that. But I'm like, man, where does it lay with Galaxy 2 and 3D World? Which one do I like more? And I was like, I have to replay them. That's the only thing I think I can do to decide. But anyway, I think we'll
change the subject. I think Watch Dogs on Wii U is hideous.
Yeah,
this game is ugly. But I can't stop playing it though. It's weird.
Yeah, I didn't play too many. Like I had Assassin's Creed 4, and then the Call of Duty games.
Those were on your list?
No, as far as on the Wii U, I didn't buy a lot of third-party games.
Yeah, whoa.
So I can't say like I couldn't. Maybe if I turn them on now, I'd be like, oh, that looks hideous. But I don't. I always remember them looking pretty decent. The few games I had.
That's like what T always says. Like you always remember Wind Waker looking like it does on the Wii U, except that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind remembers it in HD. So it's just like, isn't this how it always looked? And you go back to the game and you're like, whoa.
I'm not. There's no way I'm going back to anything. Right? You remember how you felt when you played that game for the most part, and that's what I've done. I don't need to go back and do that old. Oh, I don't know, man. It doesn't quite control as good as I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I know what I loved. I know what I liked.
I mean, for sure.
But we're talking about putting it in an order. Like,
so you know what I'll give you one example, Clock, that why I, for example, struggle. And it's like a spoiler of something that is not on my list yet. Like Animal Crossing New Leaf is one of the greatest games I feel almost ever made. But I'm like, okay, I have to put this on my list. It has to be on this list. But I look at what's on my list. I'm like, man, dump something. And then I think of how the game made me feel and how good it is. But then I remember how I literally did everything for years and years and years. I got every DLC. I built everything. I have like 800 hours in that game, like 780 something, I think it is. And I can't play it anymore now, and that prevents me from like putting it on this list. But like,
that's fair.
No, I can't.
That's kind of fair.
Well, you're doing a different list then. I'm doing the list. Games of the decade, right? I don't care if I don't play them anymore now. I don't care if they in some ways don't hold up as much now. I'm putting games on my list that
I think what he's saying
aren't necessarily even the best games.
I think what he's saying is that helps him narrow it down, though. It's like, all right, well, I got all these games on this list here. I got to narrow it down somehow. So let me just I can't. It doesn't hold up, that kind of stuff.
What I'll say about my list is that the like last three, the only reason I have them in this order is because I could replay one infinite amount of times, while I think the other ones are just as good and I could probably replay them, but I wouldn't want to like 100% them. While the last game I could always 100% no matter date.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it to go back and play because one ain't holding up. I'm just like, I literally can't decide which game I like better. Like, because both games, I was like, this is best 3D Mario game of all time, Galaxy 2. Then I finished 3D World, started again. I'm like, this is the best 3D Mario game of all time. So I got to find some way to have one over the other. Like, I gotta find something. That's what I'm looking for. Like, they're all great games. My top 15 are all like almost equal, except for some of the top couple.
You gotta remember, you're not hurting anything, especially if you're picking a game from the same series. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing. Do I want to have 2 3D Mario games in my top 10, or can I just pick the best?
I got fucking 3 of them on
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is that they're so fucking good, and it's like, dude, I can't help that they're greatness. What do you mean?
Yeah. So I think each person. I mean, you have your way to pick your 10 and put them in order. Like, if it's easy for you, I'm envious because it's definitely not easy for me. That's for sure.
Well, I think this will make a good podcast then, because hopefully now we're all gonna have very different. I think it's gonna be some obvious ones on there. But I think also there's going to be some.
I think our top 5 or so will be similar.
Yeah. Well, here's the other question.
I don't think it works like that. The way I see it, I think there's one game we probably all gonna have on there, and for the rest, it's gonna be like, because we all know each other. I mean, you guys know some games I'm gonna have on this fucking list, so I don't think we're gonna have like a lot of like, we all have the top 5 now. I think because 10 years, it's a huge fucking list and shit. And for example, like, I highly doubt like your top 5 is going to be the same as Terrell's, for example, who's going to have like 5 fucking Pokemon games on there.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Retro, if you put Other M on there, you're off the podcast. You're out.
First off, how are you in the position to make that fucking call? I'm not even concerned with that game choice. I'm just concerned with, wait a minute.
And then you got to decide, does Wind Waker HD count?
No, dude.
I mean, I don't count.
Every game that came out in those 10 years for me counts. I don't have to like it. To me, it counts.
I'll let whatever you want to.
Time is the number one.
Any criteria you wanna throw at it. But here's the thing: I was thinking about like some of my the reason I love the Wii U so much, or part of one of the reasons was it like reinvigorated my gaming. And then getting on YouTube and meeting you guys and playing Smash Brothers till fucking 3 a.m. Like, so I got right now I have Smash 4 on my list, but technically Ultimate's a better a better game for sure.
Thing,
So it's like I might just say Smash 4/Ultimate and put them like
that's
as
that's why you are less.
That sounds like a cop out.
That's a cop out, man. They're 2 different games.
Exactly.
I know, but
he know that shit.
Don't be a fuckboy about it.
Like, it's hard to.
I don't want none of that robot shit. Like, my second place is a tie between 3 games. I don't want none of that
shit. It's not as easy for me as just say, I had such fond memories.
Retro said, I'm tired of getting it. I'm gonna have to give some now.
My bad.
That's why for me, I mean those 3 games, like for me the edges that I give each other is like, which one do I like to just 100% a bit more? So it would just give it the edge.
Well, my game
Robert,
was
you can't be trusted. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's your criteria to help
I don't want to hear.
Yeah, that's.
I don't want to fucking hear Robert go like, I have on 3rd place Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I know it didn't come out one, but I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Like it's one game and shit.
No.
The Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, Robert can be trusted. That's
my favorite games of all time are ties, but you know what? We're not counting that. We're just.
I think that should be our only. That should be our only rule, right? That our only rule. You cannot have two games.
Multiple games.
No,
Yeah.
of course.
Robert, if your two favorite games are tied on one, it means you don't have a number 10. That's how it's gonna work.
Right. There you go, bitch.
No. I'm not. No. In all reality, for these types of lists, I'm always like, all right, gun to my head. If someone said you have to do it, then I like separate them.
Pretend there's a gun to your head, then, and do the right thing.
I do all by edges. I do all just. I give that.
I think I'm more concerned about you imagining there's a gun to your head a lot. That's my concern. You shouldn't be thinking about that, buddy.
So technically, you could have Mario Kart 8 on your top 10 twice. You could have the original Wii U version, and you could have Deluxe.
Oh my god!
And they would both be bad choices.
Wow.
Sorry.
Man.
It's. I mean, I'll just probably right before the podcast just put them in an order that will change the next day. But at least for the podcast, I'll have an order to go by. And
I'll be honest, something like Splatoon 2 is probably the better game, but like I've been more so thinking about Splatoon 1 because like I think
Splatoon 1 had a lot of better power-ups. It's a good. I think it's a legit way to choose one over two.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that's fair. Like,
because that's the one that I put 500 fucking hours into it.
Right.
I didn't play as much for 2.
Yeah, you
like what Juice said.
All the hype and everything, man. All the hype for all that stuff. Like even like with Mario Kart 8. You gotta think back to the Wii U where we were getting 200cc, we were getting the DLC.
Greatness.
It was just such a great fucking time. Just think about those moments.
But you gotta be fair because it's like an Eddie Murphy joke where he's talking about the crackers and stuff, how delicious the cracker was.
Is that
only because he didn't have that many. He was like, it's the best crack I've had in my life. But you're starving. That's why it's bad.
Please,
so on Wii U, you gotta remember you were starving. And so
yeah, but come on, they generally are the greats, yo.
Some of that stuff,
I mean,
higher on the pedestal.
I definitely have the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 significantly ahead of Deluxe.
Yeah, no, me too. That's just because it came out.
But you're still on it, though.
It's only fair. I think that's fair.
So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to make it a fun podcast to have.
Man, just talking about the fact that we're going to have the podcast was already fun as hell.
But I will say for my game of the year, like for deciding factor, I could we'll say the top 3 right now for me without saying what they are. Like I love them all, and just thoroughly enjoyed playing each one. But then I just had to think, all right, how am I going to pick? And I was like, well, which one did I go back and play more of? Or which one did I, as soon as I stopped, start it over, type of thing. And it's like, you just got to find those little details to separate,
So Juice, would it be safe to say that you're trying to get your game of the year list under control?
That's funny.
I see what you did there. Why'd you do it? Why you do that?
I'd say it's safe to say that my list is not set in stone right now. That's all.
Oh goodness!
So it's not under control. I get it.
God.
The game of the year is a whole different beast. Where it's just like, man, these are all so recent games that I haven't finished a lot of them yet, and it's just it's tough.
I'm definitely gonna finish a game before I put it on my top 5. That's for sure. I know some people can review games before they finish them, but
he had a fucking aneurysm.
We all made this top 10 a different. It's like we all make this top 10 a different way. Like you, Juice, for example, you put like the
Retro, how many of the games on your list
on there because you have like a specific emotional attachment to it. And I can play games for 5 minutes and decide it's the greatest thing that ever has been.
You're gonna have at least 2 Darksider games on there. So
is
game of the decade list.
Is Starlink gonna be on there?
Why did you do that? Why'd you do that?
It was the greatest space shooter of all time, so it should probably.
I played that for 5 minutes and could review it retro.
Actually,
oh my god,
that game went through a cycle. I went through a cycle. First hour, I was like, this game is fucking trash because I could not grasp the controls. Like the holding up to fly, I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. But then I got used to it, and it became less of an issue. And I was like, oh, I'm actually having fun exploring this world. Like, I'm enjoying this. And I go to the next planet, and I'm like, this looks cool. And I'm like, go to the bases, like, oh, I'm doing the same thing. That's fine. This planet's cool. And I go to the third planet.
Wait, don't you mean down to fly up? Or
no, I mean, you have to press up to fly forward on the left stick.
Oh, okay.
It's like the horse in the early Zelda games where you had to hold up to move forward with even on the horse, and then because the ship can't fly itself. Apparently, you have to hold up. But anyway, I got used to it, and that wasn't even an issue. And then so I was like, man, I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm taking videos, I'm posting them on Twitter, I'm taking screenshots, and then it just like the monotony of it just started hitting me, or the repetitiveness and
the Ubisoft.
So I just like completely started. It started bad, then it got really good, and then it ended kind of meh, on a down note. So like,
how much forgot you played that game?
I had I want to say I almost 100%ed every planet, so I had probably 40 hours in the game.
I was like that with Assassin's Creed 4, with the Ubisoft curse. I was like with Assassin's Creed 4. I was like, man, this game's beautiful. I love being a pirate. I got my own ship. Let's go fucking whale hunting. Let's board some pirate ships. It's fucking cool. Let's go to some islands. Holy shit, it's fucking awesome. A few more hours, I'm doing the same shit over.
Exactly.
And over.
Like, oh, I can just jump in the water and go to any island. This is awesome. And then I never played it again.
Yeah, I don't know how they fall into it. I don't know how
the combat really started to lose it for me. Like, this is just trash.
Oh, look, I'm fighting another Prime. Yeah. It was cool.
The Goose Game sold over 1 million copies.
Crazy.
Congrats.
What game?
That's really good.
The Untitled Goose Game.
Juice is, listen, for some reason.
I knew it was going to.
For some reason, Juice just like supporting games that he shouldn't sometimes.
I mean...
Kind of does that a lot.
I'm not. It's not like Runbow for me. I mean, I enjoyed the game.
I don't understand this hatred for Runbow. That's my question.
Runbow was just
trash.
Runbow,
great idea.
I literally have only
shit
10
controls.
minutes of enjoy. Yeah.
Shit fucking controls ruin a platform, but it has a really cool idea where when the color switches, the platform of that color disappears. It's a really great idea, but when you don't have solid gameplay to build around it, and I don't know.
Or if you're playing it by yourself.
Well, yeah, the thing is that I have.
We tried the multiplayer and it was lame.
I had like 10 minutes of enjoyment with that game where I remember I played it on my birthday, and no joke, somehow and even my grandma doesn't know, but she somehow won a race, one of them, and we have no fucking clue because she hasn't touched a controller in her life, and she somehow won. And we just we looked at who won at the end, and it was like, you won. She's like, oh, and she's like, I won. And it was like, I'm like, yo, what the fuck? How's that possible? How'd you win?
I mean, it's not as good as the letter or anything, but
yeah, I had a game night.
Yeah, man.
I had a game night. Hey, I got the Wii U. I got all these controllers. Let's play some games. And we were playing Runbow, and like everyone just looked at each other at about 30 minutes in, like,
do we have to keep?
Why are we playing? Do we have to keep playing this? Can we just play Smash? So anyway,
what about NBA Playgrounds? That's a really good multiplayer game.
That was on Switch.
I'm making the joke because of Robert and T's one.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was good.
No, I actually, had people over. I was like, man, we can all play this at once, and they're like, what the fuck? But anyway,
we're playing that game. How about we play like a Payday 2?
Damn, I wanted to remember we were getting.
Payday 2, I'm get it. Nobody
got some interesting news.
I'm the only one who bought it.
Luigi's Mansion just topped the French sales charts after 51 weeks or something.
Retro
in the year. I don't know what.
In
week 51, Luigi's Mansion 3 is back on the top of the sales charts in France.
That game
I'm curious. Is anyone genuinely surprised how consistent this game seems to be? Like hanging it up there.
They have this?
You could remember I said before that she's gonna sell 10 mil one day. I said that.
They also recently announced the DLC, so that probably helped.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Has everyone completed that game now?
What?
No, I'm close.
I completed it.
I beat it.
I beat it with a hammer. I mean, a ghost.
It's a great game.
What the hell was that, Robert? I just heard.
And did anything come out in December? Any Switch games come out in December at all?
There's a lot of Switch
not
games
any first party.
Not that you would probably care about though.
But it did a 1.5.
Brain Age. Isn't Brain Age supposed to be out, but not in the U.S.?
Brain Age is out, yeah.
Not in the week US, of ending December 20th.
It's out digitally, I think.
Americans are stupid.
I don't think that because until like January or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is
right.
bullshit. Because I actually quite like.
Are you mad about this?
I quite enjoy those Brain Age games.
I'm on your 3DS.
I'm a sucker for those fucking, those type of Wii, Big Brain Academy and all that bullshit.
Those games work better on 3DS or handheld. I mean, I
don't know, man.
Know.
I always
it's a little different though.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I always wanted to play a brain game on my console. Right?
They work better dual screen
too.
for me.
Well, I know you're joking.
I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, because you had to write the answers with your stylus. What are you gonna?
Right. That's what made them cool for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like that for sure. Yeah, for sure. The Brain Age stuff. Yeah, but I like big. I had the. Well, to be fair, Big Brain Academy. We degree. I got that
degree.
I got my diploma, ma.
And to be fair, though, the game is so tiny. It's so short compared to it probably should be much more in content. That's lacking.
Clearly, it was trying to rip off Brain Age or people because it was people conscience was on Brain Age, and so let's put a product that has brain in the title.
Yeah,
and ape some of those sales, and it worked.
Yeah,
and that's also how the Trauma series was born.
but that's why I quite like. I mean, the Wii had a lot of those type of games where they had like Nintendo just kind of, I don't know, the Wii music, all that type of shit. I'm a sucker for those. Y'all admit.
Yeah.
That's how he learned how to play guitar.
Music's trash, but I got it.
Wait, Robert, is that how you learn how to play the banjo? Is that
No, what banjo? I don't know.
Yeah, the banjo for the backlog, for the backlog song. That's where you laugh.
Yeah. Damn.
And on VG charts there, I was just seeing the weekend in December 21st. Why I asked if there's any December games. Is the Switch did 1.5 million for that week, and it's like, I know it always. Even the Wii U had some pretty good numbers, which for the Wii U was like a couple 100,000 in a week, but
it did like 400,000.
That's the week right before Christmas, and so it's like, damn, like
it's insanity.
I wonder what their goal. I can't remember. Did they up it or down or lower their fiscal year? Because we knew the light. Well, we didn't know, but back when we talked about it, we didn't. There was rumors of a mini and shit, but we knew Pokemon was coming. Animal Crossing and stuff, so we thought they had a good chance. But I'm curious what the actual from March 2019 to March 2020, what the actual total number will be. I think it's probably has a good chance of being over 20. And it's just like that shit's just crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think again, I really think that this console is gonna sell over 100, man. It's 100 mil. I really do.
That's really intuitive of you. Why did you come up with that?
I said it from the beginning, also, like I said, remember the whole, because I say handheld combined, the whole software, there's no reason it shouldn't do the handheld number.
I'm just messing with you, but there are people out there, bigger channels. I'm like,
fuck
you. Like I said that shit before it was, easier to say it. Like I was saying that.
No, I know. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get to the Discord questions after. I just wanted to. I don't remember if I said this on the air last week when I talked about getting Game Pass for $1. What I had to do to actually get it. Was that on air, or did we chat about that off air?
We did. We said it on there. We said it on there. Yeah.
Well, one thing I didn't go into was how many games have I downloaded and played in the 3 weeks I've had Game Pass. So I downloaded 3 games. Rocket League was already still downloaded from the last time I had Game Pass. So I played Gears 5 for about 2 hours.
How was it?
Felt
He's
just
not
like
allowed
Gears
to
3.
say he didn't finish it yet.
Felt just like Gears 3. But I haven't gotten to where I'm still the dude, so I don't know how long in you get to it switches to the girl. I'm like, man, nothing felt like it was changed. Like I just felt like playing the same game, and I'm just like, man, is this level over? Is this mission over? So
sounds like a fun game.
Played that. I played My Friend Pedro for probably a half hour.
Damn.
I downloaded Metro Exodus.
Oh,
installed
come on. Tell me. What?
Haven't even started it yet.
Oh, dude. Okay. Metro Exodus is really
and
good.
I have 3 to 4 hours on Rocket League. And that's it. That's my...
I think you'll get stuck in... I think you get stuck in Exodus. Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, I
went to play it.
One of my favorite games of this year, yo.
I ain't gonna lie. I went to play it, and because I turned the system off and everything usually downloads, it needed to install the game. It had downloaded and it had like 50 gigs left, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this PS4 game I got over here, and then I haven't played another game since. I've been playing that nonstop. Probably got 40 hours into it. So because I thought Metro had a chance of maybe being a contender, but I was like, man, I got to focus on one game that I'm really enjoying, and it's like, yeah, I might like.
I mean, I feel like you would like Metro Exodus, but I don't think it's gonna be like the end all be all for you, to be honest.
But yeah, the point is, like, all those games on Game Pass, I only paid $1, and I feel almost no incentive to play them. Like, I'm playing a game that I paid $40 for instead. Like, I don't know if it's not even a conscious decision. I said, all right, I'm going to give each game like 30 or 90 minutes, and then the ones I like, I'm going to keep playing. If I think they could be a Game of the Year top 5 contender, I'll keep playing them, and then. But it's just like
top 5. I don't think Metro would be on your top 5 though. Yeah,
so just like, you know.
Why you say it like that, Robert? Like it's a good
game for the year.
It could be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was just like, because you were praising Gears 5, and I was like, man, I'll give it a chance. I'll play it for 90 minutes. I'll play this other game for 90 minutes, and I was going to play Metro for 90 minutes and see which one gripped me.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, Metro has been on my top 5 for most of the year until it slipped a few spots out of this packed few months.
Yeah.
But it's just like the point.
I'm just saying, it was mechanically solid. It was fun. It was smooth.
You can't play it like that.
The atmosphere for Metro Exodus is phenomenal. I love.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably enjoy it, and it could be my 2020 game, non-2020 game that I like the most. You know, like however I worded that. You know. Because this year I played a couple games from previous years that I really love, which we'll do again where I have your favorite non-2019 game that you played this year. So obviously, you know, anybody that follows me knows at least one of the 2 games I played that I really love this year. So maybe I'll play it next year and be like, man, I wish I would have played that in 2019 because it would have been, you know, on my list. But
Watch Dogs.
But it's just like, I don't know, just talking about. Just getting back, you know, listen to T talk, reminisce about, well, not reminisce, but kind of explain what happened with AGL. And we definitely had a disagreement over Game Pass, and he just didn't believe that I felt that way about it. Like, I'm just like, dude, whether it was a free trial or you pay $1, like, all I did was download a couple games I had already played. I downloaded Rise of the Tomb Raider. Downloaded Rocket League, downloaded Ori or whatever I was going to. Maybe I didn't end up downloading that one. And I was like, when I'm not paying for it, I don't really feel any incentive to play stuff. You're like, I don't know. It's a weird. Maybe I'm.
It's definitely weird, but I know exactly how you feel. Like that's how I am. Like
we all explained that. We talked about PS Plus. That's how I felt. I was just like,
yeah.
You end up getting so much in your library. It's just like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, it's like
it's like we buy stuff on Steam in bundles. I'm just like, yeah, man, I want the original Tomb Raider game on Steam. Yeah, you know, just so I can play it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can buy this Tomb Raider bundle, get every single Tomb Raider game for just $9.99. Like, ooh, okay, I'll get that. You never touch any of them.
It's similar to me, where because I'm like, oh, I feel like playing some retro gaming today. Let me look through what I have to play. And it's like, what the fuck? I have way too much. And it's like, every time I spend like 35 minutes trying to figure out what I'm going to play, and then just say, fucking, and watch Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it doesn't feel like it anymore.
That was my problem for literally like a year or two. That's the problem. And so I just go, I'm telling you, try just randomly selecting a game. And
well, that's one of my problems with streaming too, is like, I don't want to stream like newer games because I want to experience some, real-time fun for myself. Because it's hard to like play a game and talk, and you're gonna be missing shit. I hate that.
And get immersed.
So,
exactly. I think that happens.
So I'm like, let me play something that's old, but then I can't fucking figure out what I want to play. And it's just like, goddamn. So that's how Game Pass is for me. Just like, I'm just gonna end up not playing anything, even though I have.
Well, Devil May Cry 5's on there.
I don't give a shit. Like I have it, but I don't even. I've downloaded less than you, Juice. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I was thinking we could play Gears multiplayer. Like, I didn't know you still had it. I should have mentioned something earlier.
I have the physical copy now because that's the only way I'm gonna actually finish playing the fucking game.
It's weird though when you
need to unwrap it first.
Yeah, I gotta unwrap it. Yeah,
and you'd have to keep live to play it online, but it's just weird to me, and that's really where it came down to. I was like, it's a rental service of a few, you know, it was 100 games. Even if it's 200, it's still a small selection of all the games that came out this generation. On Switch alone, there's like 900 or 1,000 games. Most of them are just small indie games, but you know, there's just it's just too many. Or even if there was 500 games, it's still a small fraction of the amount of games that are out there. And it's like, I just don't, I feel no motivation to play stuff. Like, someone gave me a download code for Metal Gear Solid 5, and I mean, I played it for a decent amount of time, but I was just like, if I had bought that game, I probably would have felt more compelled to play it to get my money's worth when you get something cheap or free. For me, like, I rarely finish any game that I've ever gotten for free. I don't know if that's just weird, but
see, I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, obviously, I have a ton of shit in my backlog. So if I want to play a game, I have plenty to choose from. Game Pass is only going to fucking complicate that. You know, like, I don't need those, you know, not distractions, but I don't need that influence as well as what I already have already. So it's just like, for a gamer of my ilk, it doesn't do anything for me. And here's the thing, like, I know what I want to play, especially when it comes to newer games. Like, I already know I'm in gaming enough to where I know if I want to play that game or not. So just having a bunch of games that I never really want to play sitting there, it's not going to do anything for me. Now, you know, if you don't have a huge backlog, you don't have a bunch of fucking systems and games sitting around, maybe it's better for you. But for me specifically, it doesn't do anything. So.
Well, that what you just said is just to kind of mention that this is a good way of phrasing it. Like you said, like after 30 plus years, you know what you like,
right,
and stuff. So that's why some games draw you. That's the attitude I have. Why I can say that after like 1 hour of playing a game, I know if I love a game or not because I know what I'm looking for in a game.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But you could also be surprised by a game maybe you weren't aware of, but. I guess
that happens. It's not like that doesn't happen, but it's.
I mean,
rare.
I don't know how to say this.
Is that worth $60 a year? Probably not. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know how to say this any other way other than like, if you just don't have the means to like buy the games you really want to play, but Game Pass gives you some good games that maybe you wouldn't have gone out and bought. Like, if you're in that situation, I could see, like,
of course,
like that's a pretty good alternative to, you know, risking buying a $60 game you don't like. I mean, I can see that, but to claim it's like the most consumer friendly, like setting up the next gen, like to just dominate based solely on Game Pass, it's
friendly. It's very friendly for a certain type of gamer. But for me, again, like I said, like my friend who's a casual, I talk about him once in a while. My friend, my best friend in the world, Jeff. He, you know, he'll play 3 games, 4 games, maybe a year, but he goes out and he makes this big investment of, you know, $400 for a console, and I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, that's for him. I was like, maybe Stadia is good for you. You know, like, you can just do that. You can play whatever you want, you know, once the library gets good enough anyway. And you'll have more. That would be better for you. That's a better value for you than spending, you know, $400 plus tax for a console that you're barely going to put any hours into. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a waste of money. For him, Game Pass makes a lot of sense. You know, like, $60.
I don't know, man. It almost sounds like it makes more sense for the most, like, I got to play as many games as I can possibly play in a year type of person. Because if you're not,
no, it makes more sense for him. I'm not saying it makes the most sense, but for him, because it's like he will play 3-4 games a year, and you know how much is that? You know, like
180.
Well, it's 120 a year if you pay $10 a month for Game Pass. Once the dollar thing runs out,
right? And I mean, he has a computer already, and he can put money into newer hardware for that or whatever. It just makes more sense for somebody like him. But for somebody like me, that's like Retro said, like, I know what I want. I know what types of games I play, and I play a lot of different types of games. So nothing I'm not gonna say nothing's gonna surprise me, but I'm rarely gonna be surprised by a game. Oh, wait, that game was amazing. I had no idea. I never even thought of that game before.
Yeah, it's
That's
not like
gonna
a
happen
movie.
for
It's not like
somebody
a
like
movie
me.
or something, to be
I
honest.
will.
Yeah, it's not like some movie you find, some hidden gem movie you find.
I will say last night though, I just saw some random video of somebody was playing the GoldenEye, the source version, which I need to look into that more because it looks like a pretty faithful, like fan made remake of GoldenEye. But anyway,
on Game Pass?
No, it's just a PC thing. It's a PC thing.
That's
so I was thinking about Perfect Dark though. I was like, man, is Perfect Dark on a rare replay on fucking Game Pass? And I almost want to turn my TV back on. I just turned it off and turn on the Xbox and see, because I'm like, my biggest issue with Perfect Dark back in the day was, well, it was just came out late in the N64 and I was already playing Dreamcast and all that, but I was like, I literally, I know you guys will.
The frame rate. Go ahead and get to
a few of you will get a little. I can't go back to those controls for one, where you're using I think you press the strafe button up and down makes you aim up and down, and then left and right on the analog stick makes you turn left or right. Maybe you can switch it.
You can change the settings.
Yeah. I just couldn't. My muscle memory was too gone from that, where I couldn't go back and play them. So, yeah, the last boss was a slugfest, or the chop, like the frame rate. I wasn't thinking of it as the frame rate back then. I just knew that it was really hard to do what I wanted to do with how slow all the slowdown and stuff. And I got to the last boss and never beat it. So I was just like, I'm never gonna play the N64 version again. I have it, but there's just no way I'm gonna relearn muscle memory how to play with those controls.
What game is this?
Perfect Dark.
And he should be.
I mean, the last few levels in Perfect Dark, a lot happened with Red. A lot happened with Red at that time as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, to cause
a lot of people were bouncing at that time. So
yeah, to cause issues. But
I was just frustrated with
the frame rates.
I didn't feel like anything I was doing wrong was leading to me dying. It just felt like the game was.
Oh, the frame rate was fucking horrendous.
Yeah. Let him with the free radical.
So I'm hoping it's on Game Pass, because that's one of those things where that would be a nice thing for Game Pass for me, where I'm guessing you can buy. It was like the 360 arcade version where they made it look a little bit better.
Do you know what's funny about that is that I bought that, right, and I played it, and I couldn't play it with dual analog sticks. It just felt wrong.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, you're probably still used to.
Yeah, it didn't work. I think it's just because when some games are built, with certain controls in mind or in a certain way, and they're designed around that method. I mean, Perfect Dark was not a run and gun game.
It's not.
Neither was GoldenEye in that.
It's an adventure game. It's a.
It was all about standing, taking your shots. Then moving behind the cover, pulling out the stuff. It wasn't essentially designed in that way. So the way they played suited those controls. Whereas you played Quake 2 on the N64, now that was run and gun. That was Quake 2 was fucking awesome, and that really worked really well with the C buttons, the analog stick, stuff like that.
I just wonder if because you guys still play, you and T still play the N64 a lot. You might have the opposite. Your muscle memory might be set to that, and it's harder for you to go back. For me, like I'd be shocked.
I said even before, like, the reason I like first-person shooters on N64 is because it felt closest to mouse and keyboard, which is what I was used to on PC. So you had your arrow buttons, and that's what the C buttons were.
Even like Turok, where we were talking Turok, Turok played more like Metroid Prime.
It does,
than anything else. They were just the type of games back then. Of course, you still had the run and gun games, like that were coming out. Like I said, like the Quakes, and even then on Dreamcast, like the Unreal tournaments and stuff like that. But then the Dreamcast, suffered in that case.
Well, that's where you used on the Dreamcast, though. You used the ABXY.
That was
for moving forward, back, and strafing, I believe. And then the analog stick had you looking up and down and turning.
Like an MDK. You talked about MDK too.
But GoldenEye, the last time I tried to play it, and I don't know, I never messed with Perfect Dark enough to nowadays to see what the options are. But I feel like you strafed with the C buttons, and then you looked up and down, aimed up and down with the C buttons, and then the left stick.
Yeah, so you didn't have to do that.
Made you go forward and back.
You just had you can look up and down. You can look around with the analog stick.
Yeah.
Left, right,
That's how I used to.
Yeah, I had it where you strafed with the C, and then you looked up and down with the C stick or with the C buttons, and like that.
Yeah, that's not a good. That's not a good.
That's how I always played it.
Setup.
That's how I used to play
it that way. That's awful.
And I used to be really good playing split screen. I mean, I will say the multiplayer was definitely run and gun though. I mean, that was some.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But anyway, I just curious if maybe I'll give Perfect Dark another try. I never started a second playthrough or anything.
I mean, I tried it on Rare Replay, and I just can't. I can't do unlog with that game.
I'll have to try it just to let you guys know how if I feel the same. But all right, let's get to the Discord.
Questions. We had something last week.
Yeah, we missed. I started that topic like we just wasted 20 minutes. But what game that is officially scheduled for 2020 are you looking forward to the most? Dave97 asks. It cannot be a game with a TBA or TBD and release date. It has to at least have the 2020 window. Which there isn't.
Animal Crossing.
Go ahead. Yep, Animal Crossing. I'll say Doom Eternal.
Animal Crossing for me as well. Yeah.
And Ori and the Will of the Wisp would be like right there with Doom.
Oh no, wait, what am I talking about? Oh no, wait, because we don't. It's not TBC, is it? I would have said Silk Song, but at the moment, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they haven't. There's no way Silk Song won't hit 2020, but they haven't like said it was 2020. I don't
Bravely
think
Default too.
To be honest, I don't know, man.
Cyberpunk, bitches.
Wait, did Bravely Default did Bravely Default get a release date?
They said 2020.
It says 2020. Yeah.
Robert,
I can't remember.
you know yours is Animal Crossing.
I'm telling you, man, I don't know.
Come
not
on,
sure.
man.
I'm not sure. Of course, it's Animal Crossing.
We know it's Animal Crossing, man.
I almost feel like one of these days Robert's gonna swing
Everybody
somebody's
give their
gonna fall
answer.
in his chair.
I'm dying for it.
Everybody answered that, right? You heard me, Cyberpunk, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's good. That's like my second, to be honest, too. So that's dope. I can't wait.
AC is my second, but it's all good.
Yeah, I'd say Will of the Wisp would be my second. And then who knows? I mean, there could be a game gets revealed.
Oh, yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2 could be revealed for 2020.
Oh, wait, you can't just say AC. You might think Assassin's Creed or some shit.
Yeah. All right. So,
Animal Crossing, New Horizons. Thank you.
Malik asks, any other game collection ports you'd want to see on the Switch? I think a Prince of the Persia trilogy or Tomb Raider trilogy would be easy money. A lot of people think the Switch will have a long lifespan, but honestly think we'll see a successor by early or late 2022. So let's enter the first question. Any like game collections or you'd like to see?
Yeah, I want a Button Kaitos collection.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You don't need that. You can play those on your.
Yeah, I need that.
How you gonna tell him?
You love your GameCube. You can play right on your GameCube.
Wow.
That's
Kaitos
cool.
2 wasn't that great.
I want an HD remaster.
Yeah, I don't think they'd put the Tomb Raider trilogy. It would have to be 3 separate carts, or you're gonna be downloading a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of gigs, son.
Prince of Persia.
What was the question? Was the question for compilations or
collections and basically
on Switch or just
on Switch?
Okay.
Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection, HD collection.
I mean, again, like I said this before, I really don't need. I don't know how you would do the star bits with the
Just
without
gyro,
the pointer.
They do it on PC.
The
You
gyro,
can't have the pointer with the you separate
You have a
Joy.
pointer.
You and Juice are always the ones saying you play
easy.
separate Joy-Cons.
It's not as
It's
good
not
as
the
I
same.
I
remember
think
playing
the
the
gyro
World of
aiming
Goo.
would be fine for that. It's not like you
World of
need
Goo, you
super.
always have to constantly kind of.
Well, then you replicate that shit. You take like a Wiimote and you just fucking tape the Joy-Con to it.
How dare you?
Well, they did make.
You can do it with
how dare you?
controls.
There's some games that
good
don't
enough.
have the drift, Robert. That's just
You can do it with the Pro Controller. You can do what do you call it?
Yeah, he's talking
motion.
about the drift though. When sometimes you set the controller still and the cursor moves. That's just the developer didn't.
Yeah,
There's a
doesn't
game
have
that just came out that they specifically said has no drift.
Because I think it was dope with World of the Goo, but I remember having to keep going to the middle, to keep.
That's just that can be. I'm sure Nintendo wouldn't allow that.
True.
They
I mean, if
figured
that's the case, shit. I don't know. It's not like I just need a new 3D Mario. I don't think I really need a Galaxy 1 and 2.
But what about all
remake.
those people that never played it, Robert? What about all those people that had to play it in 480p, Robert?
I like how he says "fuck them." That's good. That's good.
I will say though, I've seen just the NVIDIA Shield, the Chinese version of Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
was it Galaxy 1 or 2? It's not like they did a full-on port. It just runs at a higher resolution and looks like it has. I don't know if it has anti-aliasing. It just looks really clean. They did nothing else to it, and it looks like.
That game just is so fucking clean now.
It doesn't need much.
Crazy.
It doesn't. It's like Wind Waker. It doesn't need a whole lot. Just.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
See what really be able to appreciate the art direction stuff. You know.
I can't think of any collections I would like right now. Maybe because they've closed down. Maybe I don't know, some HD versions of like the Mario Luigi series or something.
Yeah.
I would take a again, every time I think about Paper Mario, but I'm like, I just want a new Paper Mario. Right, but like not including let's say you still had a new stuff, I mean, nah, not even. I think 1,000 Year Door looks pretty fucking dope still. I mean, obviously not nearly as.
If it was an HD, it would be even more gorgeous.
I mean, it looked incredible, but I don't know. I just need new shit, man. I just need new shit.
I don't really sit around thinking about collections I would like to see.
Well, let's get to the next question then.
Yeah.
Nintendo did say they think the Switch will have a long lifespan, and I kind of think.
That's
just like I said, because it's just going to live on as a handheld. It's kind of the theory I have. So I wouldn't be surprised if holiday 2021 or early 2022 you get the successor to the Switch. That's just, I mean,
I think early 2022 or even fall.
Well, 2022 that's 5 years. And,
yeah.
Holiday 2021 is like just over 4.5.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you really think we would get a new Nintendo console in a year's time? Well, you say holiday,
no,
but
2 years.
It depends. But it depends when they announce it's like a year and a half. Or
2 years from right now, basically.
I don't know.
I'd be surprised if
I can't imagine somebody. I can't imagine somebody at Nintendo being like, "Hey, we finally have a system that's selling. Yeah, okay, let's go to the next. Let's try the next one."
Yeah, but like I said, the Switch will live on as a handheld, and then so it won't.
Nah, this shit is like on full steam right now. I don't think they're letting go for at least another 3 years.
If they pay attention to what happened to the Wii, they'll be more prepared. They'll definitely be more prepared, because if they let that happen again, where it's just like 2 years of like nothing, and then they have to rush out a console that came out late.
They can't separate.
Already 5 years old.
They can't separate it again, though. You know what I mean? Like it's still got to be. It's still got to be a Switch.
Switch games are still going to come out until they die off in a year or two after the new console comes out, and that'll be it. They won't be actively making new Switch games. Nintendo definitely won't be making first-party games for Switch, but by the time the new console comes out.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that. I just think they're going to keep it around because it's still going to sell, and it's going to be like really cheap. It's going to be like the 3DS, at the end.
Yeah.
It's like super cheap technology.
I don't want to see
making crazy money off of it.
I just don't want to see a future where they go back to two consoles. It just
I guess
they're not going back to
the only way I see an actual console in like 2021, like what you said, is if they're gonna DS this shit, where they make exactly a new Switch, just a lot bigger, a lot powerful, that has like a separate card slot for actual Switch games in it.
Yeah.
Well,
they can Series X the Switch. They can make that Switch that that Super Switch or whatever everybody's waiting on. That's gonna what do they call it? The Switch Plus or Switch Pro or whatever. That could be their next console, and it could be a significant leap in technology, but you'll still be able to play current Switch games on it. So that's a very possible thing. But I don't see them, trying to support two consoles, trying to support a handheld and a console at the same time, like actively.
Too far. I think next year is just going to be so chock full of releases again. The Steam's not going to slow down. Like, people have just got Nintendo Switches and just buying Zelda again now for the first time.
They're going to come out with a new console in 2021 when Metroid Prime's coming. Hey, Metroid Prime's coming.
I'd love
we got a new console, by the way.
But either or, I mean, I guess they could push it to a 6-year lifespan. But that would be March 2023.
That's what they did with the Wii, right? Wasn't the Wii 6 years?
Yeah, but I mean, the Wii
was longer than that. Okay. We came out in
2006.
Before Wii U came
It
out,
was
2012.
6 years.
2006 to 2012. So 6
I think the Wii U only dragged on longer than it had to, specifically because they were like making this whole plan for the Switch to like blow it out right the right way instantly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason why. Even then, the last year of the Wii U, we got like a couple of like good games still though.
But
We
the
got like
last year of the
Mario,
Wii,
the Star Fox and everything. Like,
I'm thinking more about the Wii. The Wii was a huge success, and they thought they could ride that train, and then it just fucking fell off a cliff.
in late,
people just like
early 2011.
You know, by 2011, it was like even a brand new Zelda game barely. I mean, what? It sold 3 million or something. Like that's on a 100 million install base. Like, I don't think they're gonna. And maybe that'll be the lesson. Like, well, either they'll find a way to make it more relevant longer, or they'll just realize that they got to cut it off sooner. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like with most consoles, and obviously Wii was different, is that you get your casual sales in the later years. You get the hardcore guys in the first couple years or whatever, and then your casuals pick up. And that's what mostly happened with the PS4. Most people getting it at this time, especially, are people. Oh, the PS4 is popular. I can use that Blu-ray player. Blah blah blah. But with the Switch or with the Wii, all the casuals jumped out early. Like so, by the time 2010, 2011 came around, there weren't casuals that were going to be buying it at that point.
Plus, Nintendo's
it was already in the closet in their houses. So
Nintendo normally just sticks to the 5 year for consoles. They don't.
Yeah.
They pushed it a year with the Wii, and it was a disaster. So, I would expect 2022 will be the latest we'll see.
It was a bad time too. It was also there was other factors with that, with the crash, the recession, all kinds of stuff affected their decision making around that time. So.
All right. So he also asked Halo collection on Switch in 2020.
Ooh. It wouldn't surprise me.
Does anybody want that? Does anybody really want that?
I not give a shit.
I'll be honest.
Those games
I never care for Halo.
With Reach,
I love Halo, but I don't want it on my Switch. I don't care about this shit being on Switch.
I wouldn't mind it, I'll be honest. I just want it for one, dude, talk about the history. That'd be so cool. And
I'd love it just for
your name was
just for the multiplayer
360.
podcast. How they would react. That's the only reason I'd even care that it.
You want to just to see them go crazy.
Yeah, those guys would just lose their mind.
I just think, and I said,
I think that means you're a fan of chaos.
I think a Halo game is totally coming to Switch, man. I totally.
And I was like, I'm one of those people that like Halo's in my in the discussion for overrated franchises of all time, because the first game, like the first 2/3 of it was awesome, and then you're just like in this same corridors for the last third of the game, like trying to figure out if you went this way or you went that way. Every door, every hallway looked identical. And then Halo 2 comes out. Yeah, the multiplayer and everything was great, but everyone was pissed about the ending with the cliffhanger. Then Halo 3, I know some people say they like it. I played that game. I'm like, this is some fucking trash. Like it was supposed to be the 360's like big, showcase game, and it just felt like it was. It felt
really
like
it
was mostly an original Xbox game, and they just bumped it up for 360. But
everyone gave that 10 out of 10 because of the multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer.
Everyone didn't give a shit about the single player, it's about the multiplayer.
How many people talked about Halo 4 like a month after it came out? Like it was just quickly forgotten. Halo 5 quickly forgotten.
Okay. Dead by then, right?
Let's get to the other questions.
Halo Reach, though. I love Halo Reach.
Lightning 49.
Halos, man.
Lightning asks, what standards, this is for me, what standards do you have when you decide to buy a game? For example, graphics, gameplay, 1080p, online play. Like, is this a troll? Like, first of all, is it a sequel or a follow-up to a franchise that I love or a game I love? I mean, that's an immediate, like, buy in some cases. Like, then I need to see the game. I need to see the gameplay. Like, I mean, it's not like I don't have a checklist. It's just, does the game look interesting? Yep. Then I'll look at more. I'll watch some gameplay. I'll watch a review. Yep. I think I'm going to get it, There's nothing like, oh, man. That like Yoshi. I know I complained about it after I bought it, but, I mean, that game looked good. And I was excited to play it. And then I play it. Then I thought it was everything I wanted.
There's your answer, Lightning. As long as it looks good.
Another Yoshi game to follow up Woolly World, my favorite Yoshi game. I'm excited, and then I play it, and it's just mediocre. Music's terrible, and I just, So who knows? It's just something you see in a game makes you want to play it.
This next question from Lightning for Terrell. How is you meant to fucking answer this, man?
Wait, I didn't read it.
I deleted it. He's asking you to grade the best JRPGs of all time or something
that you've played for your whole life.
Yeah,
my whole life.
Come on, that's a question you dedicate a whole podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast worth of shit.
All right, Dave97, with more DLC on the way for Smash Ultimate after the current Fighter Pass, could we see the roster reach 90 until? I mean, they said 5 more, so I don't do the math. I don't know what.
It's it's in the. It would reach 90.
Well, I mean, they didn't say
it's
5.
In the 80.
I was gonna say, did they specifically say
I thought
5
they said 5.
No,
specifically.
They just said more fighters
coming.
And to be fair, I think that does mean another Fighters Pass, like a 5.
I thought they said there was going to be another pass, but maybe people.
No, they didn't say another pass, but
okay.
I think they might, but regardless, I mean, how many? There's like 83 or some shit right now, so I don't know.
And I said this when they announced that, they don't have to add another character to Smash Ultimate, and I'm completely satisfied. It's a huge roster, and in my mind, they don't have to do any more work on the game. It's a complete game and then some.
Yeah.
I know they're doing it because it'll get them more money and a way to keep the game relevant and stuff. So I don't mind that, but it doesn't need any more characters. It doesn't need to have 90 characters. That's just
no, it doesn't. But at the same time, man, you're so close to 100.
You can do it.
Really though, if you take the Echo Fighters, it's not even close to that many.
Well, the thing is, Sakurai said
no, but the thing is, the Echo Fighters are their own. I don't. That's. Daisy's not fucking Peach, yo.
Yeah, they play identical. There's no difference.
Yeah, but even if they're identical, they're
Samus
not.
Dark Samus are the same.
Nah, they're 2 different people, yo.
It's inclusive, T.
So why don't they just, they could just double the character just by changing a costume or making it a different version. Make Waluigi, but he just plays just like Luigi, That.
I'm telling you, yeah.
They put Waluigi in this shit. I'm selling my copy.
No, I don't
all right, so
the most overrated character of all time.
Next question. Next question. Have you guys ever played a game that you knew next to nothing about beforehand? So you went in blind, and this doesn't include a sequel or established franchise, because obviously you don't need to know much about. Retro Death doesn't need to know anything about Darksiders 4. He's gonna buy the game.
He doesn't.
So a game that you just knew nothing about, next to nothing about, did you ever play and have any feelings on?
That's a weird question. Because to me, that depends on the degree of how much I'm allowed to know. At the very least, I don't read reviews, I don't read people's life stories, but I need to see at least one trailer. But I guess in the sense of this question, it feels
that's all you saw in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, is the least amount that
that's still a small amount.
Well, what I'll say is, I think for me it'd be the Metro series, actually, because I generally thought it was kind of like a Call of Duty in a way. I thought it had a better
Certainly
story.
Not that, thank God.
I thought it just had a better story, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I did my toes in that, and then I played it, and there's fucking monsters, and it's this cool survival atmosphere. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is crazy, and it's really cool.
Actually, I have done that. I have sometimes, I think on the Switch, a month or 2 ago, I had some extra money on there, and I'm locked in. I don't want to leave my money on there held hostage. And there was a game on there. I didn't know anything about it. I just saw the screenshot on the eShop, and I bought it.
What is it?
I think it was called Eldrad, Knight Eldrad, something like that. It was kind of like a really low-key indie, but I actually had a lot of fun with it. But, I got for what it was. It was $1 on sale.
Okay.
I got a couple. Well,
I got a few.
One is that Wolfenstein, the New Order or whatever, because I saw Wolfenstein 2 was coming out, and I didn't look at really any gameplay. I was like, I knew that they had some new ones come out in the last few years. I was like, let me pick up the previous one, and it's on PS4. I thought it was a PS4 game, but it turned out it was a port of a PS3 game. So I'm like, all right, it's the guys, this is Bethesda, maybe this will be like Doom or something, and I get it. And it, unlike Metro, it was the biggest Call of Duty clone as far as these stupid scripted events where you're not controlling. Like, you literally get in a car, and you watch this cutscene, you get in the car in the middle of this gunfight, and you drive the car, I would say between 5 and 10 seconds, and then you go up these steps, and then it crashes through the window, and it goes to a cutscene, and you're not driving anymore. You literally drive under 10 seconds, you're actually driving, which you just barely control. I'm like, why was this even in the game? And then it's just like endless hordes of enemies, but until you get to you can just push up, and and then they stop coming, type of thing. Yeah, it has a little bit of a hub world, and it has some like side missions and stuff, but just the core gameplay just felt it was from that when Call of Duty was at its peak. You could tell it was people, they were trying to capture that type of feeling and try to maybe get that audience over to their game. And I was just like, I wish I had done some research. And then the game I'm playing right now, I saw some footage from the Game Awards like announcement video, and I was like, I don't know that game. And then I watched one review, and I didn't even really pay that much attention to it. And then it's like, it's nothing like I thought. It's so beyond what I thought it was that I was like, holy shit, that's where this question came from. I was like, I didn't know this. Like, I mean, it basically has a Metroid Prime like structure, and it's this huge environment. I was like, holy shit, like, I didn't know any of this. And it was just such a pleasant surprise to not know anything. Like, usually I do quite a bit of research beforehand. I'm watch the Treehouse. I watch a lot of gameplay, and it was like.
And you say you saw a review of it?
I watched one review. Like, it was.
So
like
do you think that review was
this review
good
was
at explaining?
This review, like I said, I wasn't like. I just kind of had it on. I wasn't like completely fully paying attention, type of thing, and just like, that stuff sounds pretty cool. It looks cool, so maybe I'll check it out. And it was just like. Yeah. It was kind of cool to not know much about it and to find stuff out while playing the game. Like, it's like, holy shit, there's this and this. So
for me, that's the only problem.
I want to say Beyond Good and Evil, but I'm thinking back. There was a lot of previews and Nintendo Power, and I remember them talking. They threw out the buzzwords like Zelda-esque and photo taking. I think they even mentioned Pokemon Snap for the picture taking stuff, and that wasn't really a good comparison. But I want this game you might hear again later in a later podcast is Enslaved Odyssey. Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Like, I knew next to nothing about that game, and that game blew my cock socks off. It was just like
that's that Ninja Theory game, ain't it?
Yeah, like I love that game. Like it gave me a Beyond Good and Evil type of feel, because it had a similar fate to Beyond Good and Evil, where it came out where just a bunch of really great games came out and people just didn't buy it, didn't play it, and it didn't sell well. But it's a great game, and I knew almost nothing about it other than people said, "Oh, I like that game. It was cool. You should probably check it out." I don't remember seeing a trailer or any of that stuff. It just looked interesting, basically, from the cover art and screens on the back of the game.
Yeah, like, because that's like how you did it in the past. Often when you went to the store, like you looked at the game, looked at the back and the front and shit. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. I used to do this a lot with metal, where like I feel like something new, and I would go to the metal section and I would literally look at all the CDs, look at shit I didn't know. And I'm like, okay, this cover looks the most badass. What are the songs called? Yeah, I'll try this. And I do it less with games because it's usually more money. But I do like that aspect. And on Steam, I do it more often because they're on Steam. So you get shit like, it goes from $20 to $1. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Right.
I got a very recent one because my most recent one is Sayonara Wild Hearts. Now I knew it had a good soundtrack. I heard that. I remember seeing a trailer for it before, but then it kind of like went out of my mind. I think it got rinsed over by other things. So I kind of like completely not forgot about it, but just didn't know anything about it. So I actually bought the game, and I started playing. I went, oh wait, this is a rhythm game. I didn't even know it was a rhythm game when I bought it. So I think that's my most recent one where I actually bought a game just based off.
You said
Rhythm.
Rhythm.
Oh, Oh, okay.
I didn't even know it was a rhythm game, so I didn't know how it played. I just heard that. I just remember, obviously we knew it had a good soundtrack from the Game Awards. I remember just seeing the art style and just briefly remembering the trailer, thinking that looked cool. I'm gonna get it one day, and then I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, when I picked it up, I played it. I went, oh, cool! This is actually a rhythm game. Oh, wait, there you can actually control the character as well. Oh, fucking holy shit! This soundtrack's off the chain. Well, this story's fun. This game is fucking awesome, and I just fucking loved it. So yeah,
it's like, why does nobody talk about this game like that? You get that kind of feeling.
Oh yeah, well, I think people were talking about it, but then at the same time, I can understand why now it was put up for some awards that it does, maybe art style or soundtrack. I think it got put up for, and some aspects, based on what I've also played and heard from other stuff, I think it should have got some awards for something. It didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a rhythm game till you posted a clip of it.
Yeah, I didn't even know. So I just started playing it, and then as soon as I completed it, I done it in one sitting. I was like, that was fucking awesome. I went on Twitter. I was like, yo, this was a shit. Buy this game. It's in a sale. Buy it. My daughter played it the next day. She just fell in love with it. My second daughter played it. She was like, this game's amazing. I'm like, I know. Right, I need to get gold on anything. I've been getting gold on every single song now.
It's like to the point where I don't want to just describe anymore. Once you guys, some of you, find out what the game is, if you don't already know, I don't want to describe, because the joy of finding out that this type of element from maybe is similar to another game series, is in this, or you got this, I don't even want to say it. I almost want. Don't want to ruin it for people, and just try to get you to play it and be like,
I'll fucking ruin it,
and just be like, this is it's got this gameplay design in it, and I want to, in my game of the year thing, I want to kind of describe it, but at the same time I was like, man, I almost think it'd be better for somebody to do like I did, not know this stuff's in the game, and this isn't how it plays.
I do want to mention, I only have two, so this will be quick. The first one's probably the weirder one. There was a game on the Nintendo 3DS that I was scrolling through the eShop because, of course, I had extra money because Nintendo's online eShop was bullshit on the Wii U and 3DS just for that dumbass reason of leaving extra money just sitting there. And one of the games I saw was called Zombie Panic in Wonderland DX. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And so I picked it up, only to find out it's essentially a what the fuck is that famous zombie game on the arcades?
House of the Dead.
Zombie Revenge.
Yeah, it literally it feels like House of the Dead. That's literally, but it's on the 3DS, which I think is part of the reason why it's fun, but it suffers, for one, because it's on the 3DS, and two, because it also requires you to get through the whole story on one life, which is absolutely insane.
So it's a roguelike.
And it's just fucking hard. It's just hard.
The
other, and then the second one is actually one people hear me talk about all the time, but didn't know that I picked it up on a whim originally, which was the Shantae series. The Shantae series, I had only heard very vague, there's this genie game, but I didn't know. I bought the first game on the 3DS and didn't even beat it until like what was it, 6 months or so?
Is it better than Aladdin?
Which one?
Yeah, Super Nintendo one.
I can already hear Terrell's friends recommend it. Terrell, there's ditties. I'm
the same way with Shantae. I didn't know Shantae was like or Pirate's Curse was like a Metroid style game.
Yeah, I didn't find that out until literally I started playing
dungeons.
Yeah, because the original Game Boy,
didn't you, Juice? Didn't you?
You never want to say
in your ear.
I never want to say that. I have to fight it sometimes
because
it's
man.
Go ahead,
Robert.
I actually do have one I forgot that and this is for the no joke, the 3DS, and it was the game Fantasy Life, where I just kind of picked it up out of nowhere.
That's so good.
And I don't know why I picked it up. I really don't know. I don't remember. And I don't remember why I picked it up, but it was just, I remember seeing the cover and I'm like, looks cool. And I guess I was, I don't know, 15, 16. And I picked it up, and it's one of the best 3DS games. It's so fucking good.
Hundreds of hours of your life just
I forgot
gone.
what that even was.
Is it better than
Tamagotchi? I just wish they need to bring a and then they had a sequel in quotation marks, I guess, on mobile. I'm like, come on, mobile, bring it.
Nobody
make
bought
a
that
Switch.
shit, man. What you want them to do?
Oh my god, damn shame.
When is Beyond Good and Evil coming out too? Remember that game? they canceled that shit. It's just admitted.
Or it's next gen, probably.
They quietly.
It was too ambitious, didn't we? We said that like from the beginning.
Make a fucking sequel to Beyond Good and Evil. Cut the bullshit.
Yeah, make that whatever you're trying to do another game. So let's get to the final questions here. Let's get to Ibsters. We'll jump Malik for the next one. Do you think The Witcher 3 very overrated? I've seen many games of the decade videos, and 80% has it at number 1. I've played it a few years ago and just felt like another big bog standard open world game. Now, I've definitely heard a few people say put The Witcher 3 when mentioning not maybe going over their top games of the decade, but I know a couple videos where someone was like, yeah, Witcher 3 is definitely one of the best games of the decade. I'm like, really?
Well,
I think most people are gonna put down their games of the decade, so. And I don't personally agree because of controls and stuff like that. But it just, I mean, a lot of people don't experience a lot of stuff we also experience.
That goes back to my rating of these games. So now I gave The Witcher. I keep on saying this. I gave The Witcher 3 2 scores. One was like 6 or 7 out of 10. The other was 10 out of 10. Because it's experience-wise, I think it deserves all the praise that it gets.
No doubt.
It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And then you go back to like general gameplay-wise and stuff.
That's where the problem.
That's where the problems start coming in. But like with many great games, we were talking about Perfect Dark earlier, and those last few levels are borderline fucking unplayable. But I would still give Perfect Dark 10 out of 10 because it's fucking awesome. Sometimes sometimes some shit is broken, but overall, fucking hell, you just hit with a game. You're just like, okay, that was the shit.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it, Collected. I would totally agree with that.
All right, and I don't think anyone else has played The Witcher 3, so I mean, it always looked.
It is a great game overall. It had some issues.
Yeah.
A big, pretty fairly sized issue with the controls, like the animation affects your control. Those games where your character moves and you stop and it wants to keep animating a certain thing. That happens quite a bit.
It just looked like the Assassin's Creed style combat where it's just like, I don't know.
I wouldn't call it that.
No. It plays nothing like Assassin's Creed.
Okay, it just it looked a little like stiff.
It's a lot of fun. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's stiff. I think it's a little too fluid at times.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. The combat can feel a bit too light. There's not much weight.
There's not a lot of weight
when it needed to be weight to the combat, and it needed to be more grounded. But you have to remember as well at the same time, The Witcher 3 is still an RPG, in many respects. So it's going to play in a certain way that is come from a PC heritage,
And that's why I'm really interested to see how they're going to handle Cyberpunk, because I think this is post, making one of the biggest games. It's going to be interesting.
You could definitely tell.
I heard the series pushed the game to sell better as well too.
It was like streaming, like one of the biggest streaming games at the moment.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
I finished all 8 episodes, and I was like, as somebody who didn't play any of the games, reading the books, I felt like they just rushed through a lot of stuff. And as in my situation, coming where I'm from, knowing nothing, there's a lot of questions. And I did see reviews saying, you definitely gotta. It helps if you know the source material ahead of time. And then I also saw a guy who was in my situation said he watched it through a second time, and it really came to get like it really.
Yeah, I was gonna say
home how good it was.
Probably watch it again. I'm gonna go back and watch it even.
So because I was
I've watched the first 4 with my wife, and she was kind of the same. Because I know who Siri is. I know who Yennefer is. Triss and all that. I know who they all are.
Well, I've seen some stuff from Siri. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're saying.
Well, talking about
talking about the game now, right?
I'm talking about the game where you fuck, yo.
I guess they don't talk about Siri in the series like that. It's a bit different.
She's a little young in the series.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
she's like 14. It's 13.
This is like Witcher. If it was talking about the games, this is like Witcher 1.
It is. I think in episode 3 they basically have the whole episode where there's the intro to The Witcher 1.
Yeah.
The CGI intro.
I haven't seen it yet. I still gotta finish.
I would say it just feels a little rushed. Like, why is there only 8 episodes? Like, it feels like they could have fleshed more stuff out. Maybe they're already filming season 2, so I'd look forward to expanding upon it. But it definitely felt like they hurried through. And plus, they jumped all over, which I'm fine with time jumps. Like episode 4, takes 3 or 4 takes place way before, or 20 years.
I love
before.
That though.
I think it
would have been. I think it would have been boring had they just went straight through.
But
played it out that way. I think it made it more meaty, more enjoyable.
I think the only problem was just that because I got thrown off a bit. I was like, wait, what's going on?
It threw me off, but I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." When I figured out what was going on,
you catch up. Yeah. But it could have possibly just been done slightly, maybe a bit more obvious, because at the end of the day, you're still being for people.
Because he looks like exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm just saying, for me personally, I thought it made it more interesting, like the storyline and how how they were going with it. So
yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, but it did feel a little like they didn't have much. I don't know if it was budget constraints or they needed to...
Maybe they didn't. Maybe they weren't sure. They weren't sure if the show was going to be a hit.
Better. Welcome to the TV show podcast.
Terrell's asleep. Wake up.
Anybody know? I guess some dude, Mike Matei, said that if you didn't beat a game if you used a save state.
That was a big debate right now.
You don't know who Mike is?
No, he
didn't even know who AVGN is. He doesn't know who Mike is.
You don't watch AVGN?
We had this conversation.
We have
been over this.
You're right. Never mind.
I would say if you
you have to ignore him.
He's kind of a dick though, so I don't care.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, he is kind of a dick.
You beat it, but obviously you didn't. If you're playing an NES
it could
game,
be like Obi-Wan plays the save state every 5 seconds.
If you're talking about an NES game that never even had a save point at all, and maybe but it helps. It helps. It makes the game easier. That's for sure.
I get where he's coming from.
I said, it's easy. It's like you finish the game, so you complete it. People say but the old games but the old games were built on a fake system to make you replay it. It's like fake replayability to make a short game seem long. So if now in this day and age, somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, they use a replay feature so they can finish the game. Well, so they finished the game. It's like,
I'll say,
but you got to remember who are the sources. Mike is, he's an elitist, especially when it comes to old school games. And he's really good at those hard ass games. So that's the perspective he's coming from.
Yeah, he's better.
In the chat, he's saying he never even mentioned save states, only the rewind feature, which is something new. I don't think it's only in the Switch Online, isn't it?
It's only in the Switch Online.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I use a save state to on the Wii U when I was playing Link to the Past, and so basically the game thought I never turned the game off. I never saw the screen where I had to pick my save file. I just used the save states.
Yeah,
to just continue where I left off. So, but as far as the rewind thing,
but I feel that way about rewind and Forza and shit. Bitch, that's straight up cheating. And
no, for me because I was just thinking that thing. It's like you have the rewind feature. People build it in games. Even Prince of Persia use it. It's basically an in-game mechanic almost.
Yeah, the games that use it, they build the game around it.
That's the gameplay mechanic of that game.
I will say though, if what's I don't think of a hard game that's on the Nintendo Switch Online, Super Ghouls and Ghosts or whatever. Mm-hmm. If that's the only way you can finish that game by using either the rewind or saving every second so you can just go back every time you mess up. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see where he's coming from.
Well, I say, what's the point? But what's the point of beating that game that way? Because it's not like there's some great grand, ending event, to the game. It's like, oh, you beat it, great, thanks, bye. Those old games don't have some big satisfying ending to them.
Kind of like Metroid
the point
Prime.
of them was, playing that shit, it's because it was hard. That was part of the joy of it. So I kind of get where he's coming from, but he is kind of a dick, so I don't care.
Robert.
He also, I mean, like you said, because it's that elitist side where it goes beyond. Like I said, it turns
I'm a better gamer than you.
I'm
a
better gamer than you. It turns him into a dick, and I don't like that, because at the end of the day, like you said, we always joke about, man, we grew back in the arcades, saying those save states. I had to sit down for 45 minutes to complete that one game, and today 45 minutes is fucking nothing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, the games are hard. We know why they were hard many times. We find out later on that some games were made purposely hard.
Because the game was only 45 minutes long, and you have to make that shit longer.
Yeah,
make you feel like you bought something for $60 back then.
The days of I've sat down and I've managed to complete Super Ghouls and Ghosts from start till finish. Those days of showboating are gone.
They're too old for that shit.
We're too old now, and that's what he sounds like as well.
Yeah,
it gives us a bit of a bad name, saying it's been like Cranky Kong. Well, back in my day,
Cranky Kong is a joke.
And then Donkey Kong Country, you're like, shut up, Cranky Kong, shut the fuck up. I got extra lives. I'll see you later. And then you carry on playing.
What about real quick? Robert saying he only died once playing Metroid Prime. How'd you guys feel about that?
That made me feel like shit.
It did.
It's like, fuck you.
I died a few times on Prime. I think we died in a few places.
I died multiple times.
But do you think it's because of the GameCube? Because again, I played on a Wii, so I don't know.
I don't think I died on my as far as I got on the Wii.
I didn't even think about that.
With the motion
I usually controls. That's different play styles. I think I died a lot in Metroid Prime, but for example, if you're like the Magma Caverns, which is lab, I'm like, hey, maybe I can get there. I'm gonna try like 20 fucking times. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I can get there. And then I died 20 times doing shit like that.
I also, I don't know, because like I remember like with the Omega Pirate, like it
Omega Pirate. That's who beat the shit out of me 3 times.
He killed me once, and then I literally understood how I had to kill him. Like by the time I was about to die, I'm like, okay, shit. Right,
but the difference is you have a lot more like gaming experience as far as 3D gaming. Like you like that's something.
I got to think of the perspective.
You were born with that stuff.
That was only what maybe
I was still trying to get a grasp of 3D gaming.
That was what maybe 5 years, right? Yeah. Like so.
GameCube, you had to hold the L button to strafe, and it was like
well, that's why I know Retro loves his. He loves his thing, but I remember when I originally bought Metroid Prime for GameCube, and I'm like, let me try playing it. Let me play it, and then I'm like, ooh, what is this? and it felt so odd to the point I was like, dude, I'm gonna get my ass kicked playing like this. And I knew they had on the trilogy for the Wii, so I'm like, I'm gonna just wait to pick that up one of these days. And I just love the Wii pointer controls. They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I mean that is an advantage. I'm not gonna take it away from you though. You only died once, so that's still
impressive.
Dope. Yeah.
There was it's like T said also. I was just gonna say, it's like T said also. Like for us who grew up with it, it's like, oh my god, it's a Metroid. It's 3D, and the whole game you were like that, and Robert just didn't have that mindset.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Robert missed out on probably other than just how good the game was. You didn't even have the whole other side of
that's the first time.
How can this 3D Metroid game feel like 2D Metroid? If it perfectly captured Super Metroid's feel and how everything worked, and we're always like, how are they going to make that work in 3D with Zelda, with Mario, like Ocarina of Time, like how are they going to make a Link to the Past? How are they going to make it feel like a Zelda game? And they captured that feeling perfectly in 3D, and that was the praise you could give Nintendo for the N64 and GameCube. Most other developers couldn't bring a 2D game into 3D, like Sonic Adventures.
There's a lot of stuff like.
And Nintendo just nailed it, and that was like, I would say that was, I wouldn't say it's 50% of what Prime, why people were blown away. It was a huge.
I remember standing there for 15 minutes. As soon as you jump off the gunship, I just stood there and I shot every single asteroid that was flying in the sky.
That sounds like a clock.
The same shit.
Because it's just a detail.
You're in awe.
Just new detail in awe. Just like, holy shit! Look at this world I'm fucking in. This is incredible. Look at that planet over there. Like, go to the edge. and then the orange barrier would flash up telling you can't go any further. And I just stand there, look at the planet. I'd be like, right, I wonder if I can shoot those stones, shoot the asteroids, they break a bit. Holy shit, can I break it again? Shoot it, break some more. You're like, fuck me, this is incredible.
And then you're like, how does the missiles gonna work? How's the morph ball gonna work? And everything just worked perfectly.
Yeah, the morph ball was like, this is not gonna work.
And it felt
like mental.
I think one of my favorite things in Metroid Prime is this little detail that never really gets brought up. I like the fact that you heard like the space pirates, they like attempted to like work with the technology. They had like people that like broke their backs trying to get it.
When you read the lore,
it's so gruesome that shit.
Bob missed out on all that. He didn't read any of that stuff, man.
Yeah, it's like so you missed all that, and you were more focused. I'm like, oh shit, these are fucking Ghost Chozo fucking me up. Like, what is this? This is crazy.
Speaking of
the plasma ice troopers, they were fucking.
Oh man, yeah.
That's what I've heard. The Ghost Chozos are really, really tough, but I never had a problem with them. I just kept shooting a missile at them, and they only take one missile to kill, really. Super missile, you have to hold it down,
right?
And like one missile won't kill him, but you have to do the super missile.
He's so wild with his ammunition, just firing super missiles.
Yeah, I'm like, am I gonna have enough ammo if I start blasting these bitches with super missiles? I'm worried what's gonna come.
Robert just has a way of
because I feel like they kind of restocked it with missiles pretty good, like I thought, and so I was pretty confident in
I remember,
at least in the beginning. Don't get me wrong, in the beginning I was worried as fuck. I was like, I thought that was my whole health meter for like the entire game.
I'm surprised you found any health
health
upgrades.
Yeah.
Or energy upgrades. I'm surprised you found any in missile upgrades because
the way you play that is surprising.
I was just gonna say, like, Robert has this skill he's been owning and shit over the years. Like, that's how he does this shit. Like, that's why we're like, how did you finish this? How was this an easy fight? This dude just finds a way, like straight through the game as fast as he can and shit.
Watch his Xenoblade Chronicles X video, or he fights he's like 4 or 5 levels under this, like level 21. That took me like a few tries, then I had to go and grind and come back, and it still took me a few tries to beat. And he did it on his first try, like didn't even grind at all. He was like level 3 or 4 or whatever, and he just beat this thing. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, you know what? That's my one thing with Xenoblade. Remember, I was saying that some people, for some reason, it depends on what the enemy does, and for some reason, it's kind of random. You could win, and then sometimes you won't. Like, it's just weird. That's my one problem.
Right, we're gonna have to wrap this up. I will say, speaking of reading about lore and all that awesome stuff in Metroid Prime, that game I'm playing right now has all that stuff. So,
and I like it that way. Unlike when games, certain games, but when they force feed you the story, I like discovering the story.
I was literally like, you know how I am about skipping dialogue and stuff. Right. So I'm playing this game and I'm like, oh, you hold square, and it's like, oh, there's a document. I was like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna skip through this.
Skip that shit.
I read the first like 2 sentences, like, oh, that's interesting. Then I read like the whole paragraph, and now I've read like 100 of these documents now, and it's like, holy shit! Like, I can't wait to find another one and to read something cool. So, anyway, that's gonna be it for this podcast. Thanks everybody for submitting the questions and for tuning in.
Wish we had more to talk about, but
yeah, we could kept talking. We could kept talking. Next week probably
into a Metroid Prime podcast.
Yeah, probably we'll do our games of the decade. Unfortunately, Metroid Prime won't be able to be in that list, but
the Prime
Other M mates, Other M.
Yeah, the Prime trilogy.
Other M's the only one that qualifies, and Samus Returns, but. We're planning on it. We'll see. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but plan on next week, next year, first podcast of the new year, and then tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Freaking can't even believe it. It's literally like, to use literally almost like Retro does, but at the same time it's kind of correct. It literally feels like a few months ago we were like, oh, new Super Mario Brothers U coming out to start the year. For 2019, hopefully they got some new games and not a bunch of ports, and like it's already fucking a year since then.
I love it how you say like Retro Death literally, but it's kind of correct.
It almost was correct use of it, and maybe it was.
Before you know, we're gonna be old bitches sitting around in a diaper shirt playing Mario.
So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. have a happy New Year, safe New Year.
Merry New Year.
Don't drink and drive.
Happy New Year.
Don't shoot guns into the air.
Lionel Joseph.
And we'll see you next year. Bye.